Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of the Sunday Wire. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. We're streaming out live on X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook Live, as well as on the audio stream platforms. We're also streaming out live on BitChute and the alternate current radio network, 21stcenturywire.com. And thank you for joining us. We had a little bit of a technical delay on the stream, but we've sorted that out with our live stream service. So we are up and running. This is episode 579 of this weekly Omnibus TV and radio program. Again, I'm your host, Patrick Henningsen. We've got a very important discussion we're going to have, and some very disturbing things have happened over the last 48 hours, and we had a certain show prepared. We've scrapped that. We pushed that off to the side to deal with current events. So our team and I have been working for the last few hours to prepare a presentation and some factual analysis on the situation in Minneapolis. There's been another execution on the streets of Minneapolis by ICE. This is even worse than the previous one. So we're going to break that down for you in over the next few minutes. And after that, we'll be joined in the overtime segment by our teammates to discuss this issue further. Obviously, we have people with very good firearms experience and professionally as well. We're going to be talking to them about the forensics of this situation, just to clear up any confusion on it, and we'll share those details with you in a few moments. But let's just go firstly to do some housekeeping up at 21stcenturywire.com. And this is the Sunday screening, which is featured right now up on our website. And this is called The Agenda, Their Vision, Your Future. It's talking about the future technocracy. And this has been boiling under the surface for a number of years. This is by Oracle Films, an outlet film production company I know very well and also have done work with in the past. Excellent independent documentary, very well made, very good film, and we're featuring that at the Sunday screening this week. We choose a documentary film every week up at 21stcenturywire.com. Go to our website and you'll see the archive for the Sunday screening. We have a fantastic back catalog of some of the best independent documentary films, plus a few like old mainstream and a few sort of sub-mainline, but excellent factual, good productions, excellent writing, the type of material that we think, as our readers, we think you need to be educated on. So this is just one of those. There, go to the Sunday screening up at 21stcenturywire.com right now. And again, big thanks to everybody for all of your support. Now, we have some housekeeping as well, and then we're going to go on and look at a couple of other things before we get started with our main subject. But we'll bring this up on screen right now, our winter fundraising drive. This is the time of year. We started this on Thanksgiving in November weekend. We do this annually. This pays for our operations, our platform, all the many channels that we manage as well. We have a really good team that manages all of these different aspects of this media platform, not just our website, but everything else. And this is our winter fundraising drive. And this is what we need for our shortfall just to keep going and keep the doors open for 2026. Okay. Now, the dial has been updated, as you can see, and just take a closer look at that. We're more than halfway. Over this week, we have received a surge of donations from some of you out there, and the generosity has just been unbelievable. Some of you guys have come in incredibly generous, and we're going to recognize those people as well during the Overdrive segment. But I just wanted to share that with you just straight up, because this is a great success, and we're humbled by your generosity. So we'll talk more about that in the Overdrive segment. But look, if you want to support this, there's two things you can do on our YouTube channel. Like this video on the live stream now, and subscribe to 21st Century Wire TV on YouTube. That's our main channel, okay? Subscribe to that, like and subscribe, because we are heavily suppressed on these platforms, especially on YouTube and have been for many years. So this is one way we can physically overcome the algorithmic suppression on that platform, and we need your help to do that. Those of you who've done that, I know many of you have, we thank you so much. It makes a huge difference. So keep the engagement up on our short videos as well, like those as well. That helps us massively if you go to the shorts and hit like on those short videos that we put out daily. Okay, so we're doing this, putting out a lot of content. We're doing it daily. Now, back to the website before we get to the main story about the ICE execution. I want to recognize a series of articles by Freddie Ponton up at 21st Century Wire. You need to read these. Very important. From Board of Peace to Board of Profit, Trump, Kushner, and the Gaza Master Plan Fantasy. The so-called Board of Peace. This is what we were going to spend our main thrust of this program on Sunday, but because current events have shifted, we had to move that off. We might cover that during the midweek. It depends if we're able to or not. We'll see. But we think that the topic we're going to focus on today is more important in the immediate sense. So, but this is a really good breakdown here. You'll see what a scam this is. I mean, people, you have no idea the level of fraud that we are witnessing right now. The level of corruption and fraud with this Trump White House and Israel, it's beyond criminal. Okay. And a lot of this scam is laid out in Freddie's report here. And then moving on, it really gets worse, okay? Ushuaia, this is a port in Argentina, down in Tierra del Fuego. And Javier Milei, who is another Israeli puppet, who is the president of Argentina, Milikowski, same last name as Benjamin Netanyahu, both Milikowskis. Work that one out. So he's handing over a port to Trump because Argentina doesn't have the $1 billion bribe Trump is requiring to join the Board of Peace. He's asking board members to pay a bribe of $1 billion, which goes into a private fund controlled by Donald Trump, not the U.S. government. Do you guys realize the level of fraud and open criminality that we are witnessing right now? We've never seen. Okay. We're back. Sorry, a little bit of a technical interruption there with our provider. We're back. Let me try to bring this back up on screen if we're able to, where we left off. So a few technical issues today. Look, back to this. This thing is unbelievable. Okay, now here's another piece of fraud another great report by Freddie Ponton right here. From Honduras to Greenland, inside the billionaire blueprint for deregulated cities or freedom cities or free ports or whatever they're called, okay? This is the PayPal mafia, the billionaire class, and the Trump administration. Folks, these are the globalists, okay? These are the globalists. It's not the radical left. It's not Biden. Biden's gone. Trump has been put into power to fast track a globalist agenda. Okay? All these technocrats, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, okay? Alex Jones bloviates all the time about the globalists, Trump's going to take down the globalists. No. The globalists own the White House. They owned the last White House, and all they did was reposition their capital to back this puppet in the White House, who happens to be much more corrupt than the previous puppet. Okay? Trump is the globalists. He represents the globalists. He is fast-tracking a globalist agenda. Again, we've exposed all this at 21stcenturywire.com. This is the sort of reporting and journalism we're bringing to you on a daily basis. That's why we're asking for your support. during this winter fundraising drive. Because if you guys haven't noticed, the level of our content has increased in its intensity and in the quality of its journalism and in the volume of the reporting that we're doing as well, right across the board. Okay, we are going from strength to strength, and we need your help. If you like this kind of work that we're doing, you like the fact that we're hitting it timely, and we're hitting it so deeply and with details and receipts. If you like this and you want to see more of this going forward, we need your support during this winter fundraising drive. Ideally, subscribe and become a member at 21wire.tv, but also you can donate as well, ideally, if you can do both. Look, we're going to be growing our team based on the level of support that we're able to get during this winter fundraising drive, okay? And we're going to be increasing our content output on top of the increases that we've already been able to do in the last few months. And there's also a great interview by Arnaud Devillet that's up on our website as well. So again, that's just a taste. Much more to come. Much more to come. So fantastic reporting by Freddie. We're also going to be doing some new analysis with some of these articles in addition to some of the work that Freddie is doing with us. We're going to be adding some interesting pieces of content to go with those articles. We'll hopefully have that in the next week or two. But again, fantastic, fantastic work. Now, that brings us to the task at hand. This is the theme of our broadcast today. Okay. There's been another shooting in Minneapolis. ICE conducted what can only be described as an execution on the streets of the United States again. We'll show you the video from the shooting. We'll also show you all the noise politically and the shameful behavior of this administration. Unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. Okay, we're going to bring that to you in a moment. So what we're saying is that a fascist police state is now in power in Washington. How long they remain in power? Well, that's up to the American people. Certainly the midterm elections are coming in November, and the polling doesn't look good for the Trump administration. They've destroyed their base, and the latest polling on independents is devastating. Okay, and it's because of incidents like this. Okay, so this was an American citizen that was executed by ICE on the street. Okay, and again, a white American citizen. And we'll talk about the details of this. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. I did a great interview with Minar Adley, who's the founder and director of Mint Press News. She lives in Minneapolis. Her media outlet's based there. Okay, I showed some of that interview on the UK column. If we have time, we'll play some of that today. If not, we'll release that in its entirety at some point, but some point soon. And she told us some absolutely horrific stories about what these thugs, these masked armed thugs, are doing on the streets of America. Just grabbing random people, profiling them based on their race, and then demanding they prove their citizenship randomly. Stopping cars, rear-ending cars to get people to stop so people get out and think that it's a traffic incident, and then ICE guys jump out of some unmarked car and then grab the person. Okay, drawing weapons, and in some cases shooting and killing. This would have not been acceptable in the America that I grew up in, but in today's America, Trump is trying to normalize this type of criminal behavior. It's the federalizing of secret police forces, wearing masks, going around, terrorizing communities. It's as simple as that, and violating their constitutional rights. And you have all these grifters and quislings trying to explain this away like it's perfectly normal law enforcement activity. It's not. When you hear this, know these people are lying. These are deeply dishonest people, many of whom are involved in criminal activity. No exaggeration, including those in the government, including the White House. Deeply involved, compromised on a very deep level. And those people who are cheerleading this, who are running cover for them, trying to explain away the indefensible, okay? Shame on these people. Absolute shame. But these are people that have gone way past shame. That's for sure at this point. So let's get into it. Let's get into this story. So 3 people have been shot by federal agents since New Year's Eve. 2 in particular that are getting, well, these 2 recently shot and killed. Renee Good, Alex Pretti, which happened yesterday. Shot and killed by the Department of Homeland Security's ICE thugs. These goons, these paramilitary force, totally unprofessional, a bunch of yahoos, mercenaries that have been hired, the taxpayers are shelling out more money. It cost, they're spending $100 billion on this paramilitary force. That's a budget bigger than the U.S. Marines. Bigger than the U.S. Marine Corps. To be used against American people. It's not for rounding up illegals. That's not what this is about. And those of you who are paying attention understand this. Those of you who are shilling for the government, those of you in the right-wing media or just have become government propagandists, this isn't about illegal immigrants. This is about the federal government weaponizing a paramilitary force, sending 2,000-3,000 into cities in order to make a big show of force, to make a political statement. They're detaining American citizens. They're shooting, killing, executing American citizens on the street. Not once, not twice. There's also, well, if you count the homicide recently in the ICE detention center, it will be ruled a homicide, and that's just the beginning. They're snatching kids off the street. They're taking people who are completely legal, and deporting them based on arbitrary. There's no accountability, no due process, violation of the Fourth Amendment. But today was special, or yesterday was special. They denied Alex Pretti his Second Amendment rights, not to mention the right to life. So what's amazing about this are some of these accounts that are shilling for the president and for ICE, putting out lies on X. Okay, here's one, and we'll show you why this is false. Obviously, all these are false. This account's called Matt Van Swal. Matt Van Swal, kind of a weird name. He's a weird person. Breaking. New video footage has emerged that appears to show 3 new things we didn't know before. It appears to show the man who was shot assaulted a woman. That's false. He was actually protecting a woman who was being attacked by ICE. So these people are lying. And basically, this shill account is insinuating that this person had pulled a weapon. That's not true. Okay, so you have all these accounts that come out immediately to defend the White House, to defend the government. Okay? Now, you talk about a lot of people in America will be like Chinese propaganda, Russian propaganda. We have people getting paid large amounts of money to run cover, to cover up, to deflect from clear government crimes, unconstitutional, criminal acts by the federal government, by the Trump administration, being paid tons of money. These are government propagandists. This is a government propaganda account. It's not MAGA. It's a government propaganda account. Okay, this is fascism, folks. Understand what you're looking at. Now, let's take a look at one of the videos in question for a moment. We'll put that off to the side and we'll bring up the shooting itself. There's many different versions of this. Many of you probably already seen it. We'll show this footage. Okay. We'll show this footage. Now, this is just one view, and then we'll show you a slow motion version of this, but watch.
Go.
That's the guy right there. Okay. This guy will be dead in a few seconds. Okay. What is he doing? He's holding what looks like an iPhone. Okay. He's holding a cell phone. He's filming the ICE thugs going after somebody, which is happening all over Minneapolis. Trump has decided to make an example of Minnesota, of Minneapolis, so he sent in thousands of masked, armed, recently deputized, quote, federal agents who aren't actual public servants. They're people who've been recruited off of mercenary agencies and other people. And as we'll show you, these are some of the sloppiest, sort of TSA-looking, unprofessional, just basically bouncers is what they are. And I would question their training, that any of them have had. Many of them have not had proper rules of engagement training or firearms training. Very unprofessional, almost like a criminal gang. So anyway, there's Alex Pretti. Is my understanding that's him. So watch the rest of this footage.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay, what happened there? If you go back, folks, okay, we'll go back and look. We'll just rewind that slightly. What's happening here? Let me just explain. So Alex Pretti, now you see the woman next to the white car. She's on the ground next to the right-hand headlight. Looks like an African-American woman. She's on the ground. Alex Pretti is standing between her and an ICE thug that attacked her and was pepper spraying her. That's what we see. That's what it is. Let's watch it closely. He's trying to help her and not realizing that all of a sudden there are 4 or 5 of these thugs, some of them wearing street clothes, very deceptive on the part of ICE. They was dressed in coats, street clothes. You can't really see they're wearing gear. But anyway, they converged on him. Now you have a full-on brawl, okay?
People, what the fuck is wrong with you? Honestly.
Okay. Now they've got Alex Pretti down. We count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 agents have him pinned down, plus 5 and 6 and 7. Yeah, so 7 agents altogether. 3 to 4 have him pinned down, and there's 3 more in the periphery. Okay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 armed, masked paramilitaries dealing with 1 African-American woman, unarmed, and Alex Pretti, who was carrying a firearm, concealed carry, legal permit holder. That's confirmed by Minnesota law enforcement. At no point did Alex Pretti draw his weapon. At no point. Based on all of the different video evidence that we've reviewed, and this has also been corroborated by media and by a number of legal experts, many of whom we have retweeted on X. So we're pretty sure that that's the case. We'll continue, and you will hear the shots fired now. Okay, I counted 10 shots, 10 shots fired. And the shocking thing is, and there is the dead body right there in the middle of the street. And look at all these absolute thugs all standing back. And you'd think they shot somebody who had drawn a weapon, but no, he didn't draw a weapon. In fact, as we'll show you, ICE had taken his weapon off him and then shot him, including what looks like 3 shots in the back, according to eyewitnesses. ICE shot him in the back after he was unarmed. They took his weapon off of his holster. It was holstered. An ICE agent came in and took it, and then they executed him. 10 shots. Okay, you can argue with any of the details on that if you'd like. We're quite happy for you to do that.
What did you just do? What the fuck did you just do? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god! 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 The fuck did you just do? The fuck did you just do? Yes, will somebody...
Let me tell you something, folks, okay? I have been to war zones. I have been in in Los Angeles. I have been in the crossfire of a gang fight inadvertently, okay? I've seen lots of different things. I've, been on the scene of homicides, police investigations in different cities, okay? In my neighborhoods, seen lots of things. It's one thing when it's known to be some kind of criminal activity, or in the case of Syria, you're dealing with Al-Qaeda and ISIS, okay? That's one thing. But when it's your own government going into communities and terrorizing neighborhoods, these are people, the woman screaming who's filming this, or the person screaming behind her, okay, that is real. Imagine you're living, that's your neighborhood, and Donald Trump, in order to make a political statement, to get headlines and to show that he's tough, and picking on Minneapolis, and we'll show you why they're picking on Minneapolis, sends in these masked thugs and are shooting people on your street, killing people, not one, not two, or at least 2 in Minneapolis so far. What does that do to the community? That's a level of terror that's even greater than if it's a gang or a terrorist organization, because at least you know that they're proscribed or labeled criminal. What do you do when your own government is doing this? What's left for the community to do? How do you read this? This is the problem. And those people who are defending this, the shameless shills and people in the media, some of which get paid millions of dollars to defend this type of criminal activity by this government. Shameless people in our media.
Call the ambulance. Somebody call the ambulance. Somebody needs to call the ambulance. Somebody call 911. I can't believe they just did that. Holy shit. Holy shit. Just get come on. Come on.
Look at these thugs. Look at these thugs.
Oh my God.
Absolute cowards. Absolute cowards. Criminals. Some of them are criminals. In the vetting process, they're paying these people $50,000 signing bonuses, paying off all their student loans. And the vetting is apparently ridiculously bad, okay? There are some violent criminals among the ICE agents. And the Trump administration's claiming that they're being deployed and being given license to kill because they're detaining illegal violent criminals. No, they're detaining many American citizens, legal residents, people with green cards, work permits, legal. Very tiny, small percentage are so-called violent criminals or anybody who's been charged with any crimes. Well under 5%. The rest, they're just making up the numbers. They're just making up the numbers. Okay. Now, we've showed you that. Now, let's look at this in slow motion. Okay, we'll get a chance to take a closer look at this in a moment here. Just so you're clear what happened. This is just crazy. We really, this really should. Okay, you can see the agent there grabbing the gun, which was holstered. Okay, Alex Pretti, the victim, did not pull a weapon, was not pointing, did not even draw his gun. He had already been tackled by 3 agents. I don't even want to call them agents. These are just thugs. But anyway, watch closely. Okay, very easy to see. The agent took the gun off him. Now you can see at the time of the first shot, which, let me just rewind that slightly, just so you understand the frame, okay? That's at the time of the first shot. The agent that took Alex Pretti's sidearm was already walking away with the gun. And after Alex Pretti's gun was taken away, Alex Pretti was shot 3 times. According to one eyewitness, 3 of those shots were through his back. Maybe the first shots. They shot him in the back. Ice. And then came a whole barrage, 7 more shots after that. So he was never an armed threat to these people. And by the way, you're allowed to carry legally licensed firearm, concealed carry permit. Legal. In America, that's legal. But all of a sudden with MAGA, well, they're not sure. They're a little confused. They're a little confused. MAGA. What's left of MAGA? Okay. Agents far away. Another view. This is another angle here. You can see. So he's a thug right there with the gray jacket, with the mask on. He's dressed in plain clothes. He has some kind of a vest underneath. But these people are not even marked as, quote, federal agents. It's just a ramshackle bunch of mercenaries who've been given badges by the Trump administration. So he'd already run off with the gun as they executed Alex Pretti right on the street in full view. Broad daylight. So, I mean, I could show you a couple of other views if you'd like. I mean, let's just be thorough here so you can see one more, just so there's no questions, folks. We just want to be thorough. Slow motion video. Watch. Empty hand. That's the ICE agent. Watch him. We'll go in to grab Alex Pretti's sidearm. Alex Pretti was already basically restrained at this point. If they knew what they were doing anyway, but these guys are... I mean, look at these clowns. Wearing their jeans. They've got their sort of Timberland boots. I mean, who are these people? Look at this slob. I mean, I'm just pointing out this slob, some other fat, just slob moves in here, another so-called agent. These people, the quality of people they're getting, it's going to end up like the TSA. Okay, you guys who fly in America, you know what I'm talking about. The level of people they recruit, it's basically the bottom of the barrel. If you're working for the TSA, it means you can't find a job or do anything else. I'm sorry to be cruel, but it's true. When they started, maybe they had better staff, but the longer this gravy train has gone on, another federal gravy train after 9/11. The TSA didn't exist before. Department of Homeland Security didn't exist. The DHS is a massive gravy train. We'll show you their head and how she lied about all this in a minute. But look at these guys. These guys are dressed like, you know, they just like got out, they just raided Walmart and put on whatever like they could get their hands on, and maybe a couple of flak vests and maybe a badge. And like, voila, I'm an ICE agent. But they're paying these people a fortune, the federal government. Spending well over the deficit. Remember Doge, Elon? Oh, we're going to balance the budget. What a joke. These guys are costing more than the U.S. Marine Corps. They had to bribe these guys hard to find the biggest criminals they could to fill these positions. Watch closely. There he goes. He's got the gun in his right hand. This Max thug walks away. After he's walked away, then they execute Alex Pretti. He was killed. Unarmed when he was killed. They executed an unarmed American citizen on the streets. Broad daylight. There he goes. So. And there's the dead body. And they'll just leave him there to die, just like they did with Renee Good. So that's our brave border patrol. Like, where's the border in Minneapolis? I didn't realize there was a border running through Minneapolis, but there we are. Always good to see our tax dollars at work there. So are there any questions as to what happened? Okay, you guys are watching. I see you guys in the chat room. I see you guys in the comments. We've got over 600 comments already in the aggregate. We'll probably end up with over 2,000 by the end of this. Any questions? Okay. Now let's go to the head of Homeland Security. Okay. Let's go to Kristi Noem, the psychotic soccer mom known as Kristi Noem, who believes that she's in a Pantene shampoo advert, constantly flicking her hair. Where they find these people, it is pretty unbelievable. This is Trump appointed her as the head of the DHS so that she could do photo ops and stuff in front of the camera, because they worked out that there were a lot of middle-aged men who wanted to sleep with her, in their minds anyway. So she has this sort of sex appeal to a certain male demographic. Maybe I'm trying to figure out why they would put someone like this in charge of the Department for Homeland Security. I probably had something to do with media optics. I'm being generous, folks. I'm really being friendly and nice here. I am not being mean. Based on, what's at stake right now, and what I'm about to show you will justify any jokes or any. These people do not deserve our respect. And I'll tell you why. Because they're lying in front of the camera. Everybody know the facts. Any honest person could look at what I saw and come to an honest conclusion about what happened. And here is Trump's Wella Balsam spokesmodel for the Department of Homeland Security, which itself is one of the biggest gravy trains in the United States. In fact, the most expensive federal department, clocking it at over $200 billion a year. Crazy. That's more than the entire Russian military budget, by the way. Well more, a lot more by orders of magnitude. So here's her version of events, folks. And you might be a little bit offended by what she's going to say. Certainly I was when I heard it. Listen.
Individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently.
Okay, firstly, she's lying. She's making it sound like he approached the ICE officers with his gun drawn. We're talking about the victim, Alex Pretti. They didn't know he was armed until they had him pinned to the pavement. 3 to 4 agents had him pinned down, as we just showed you. And they didn't know he was armed until after he was pinned down. Then he was disarmed by these so-called federal agents, and then he was killed. And by the way, holding a firearm, a legal firearm in America, is not against the law. You're in a public space, whether it's a protest or whether you're a passersby or you're just a concerned citizen, that is your right in America. But all of a sudden, MAGA, struggling with this Second Amendment now. I'm not these fake conservatives are pretty shameless. So here's Noam. Let's listen to that again. It's unbelievable how dishonest and deceptive these people are in order to hold a political line. She's afraid if she doesn't do this, that her career will be over. Guess what, honey? Your career is over. Your career is already over. You've sold yourself out. You've sold out the Constitution. And this is libs of TikTok. And just look at the account that's running this. This is the other thing that you have to pay attention to. Libs of TikTok is, for all intents and purposes, an Israeli propaganda account on X. Okay? It's more or less an extension of Israeli propaganda. And it runs for the Trump administration as well. And what libs of TikTok have said, and it became famous for its anti-woke kind of, pastiches, takedowns of MAGA, of the left. Okay, but that got old quick. Now they're basically shilling for the government and trying to defend ICE executions. An armed violent rioter. So that's a lie right there. This wasn't a violent rioter. They were filming, trying to protect somebody who was being violently attacked by ICE. Okay, but libs of TikTok says an armed violent rioter in Minnesota tried killing an agent. That's a lie. So Elon Musk promotes this account to push these lies. He gives them priority on X. Elon Musk allows these accounts to get millions and millions of views, and they're monetized, so X then pays them to lie. They pay them huge amounts of money per month so that these accounts, which get automatic algorithmic priority, can push propaganda, either for Trump or Israel or whatever. Ideological preference on X based on your politics. And if you don't do this, you get penalized. As has been shown this week, the algorithm suppresses accounts that are critical of Israel, for instance, or other things. This has already been shown. A little malfunction by Grok. Sorry about that, Elon. But you were supposed to make the algorithm transparent, because didn't you promise to do that when you took over the platform? But that never happened, did it? No, that was a big promise. You sort of dropped the ball on that one. That was something that should have been done in order to resolve what the previous regime under Jack Dorsey did, which was shown in the Twitter files. And you said, oh, we're going to make it all transparent so everybody can see the algorithm. When did that happen? You had this blip this week where some people got a chance to see it, and that looks like it's been shut down pretty quick. Managed to plug that gap on Grok was leaking out information, wasn't your AI bot. So anyway, back to the propaganda. So Elon promotes libs of TikTok, pushing out lies, defamation, blaming the victim. Tim Walz and the Democrats incited this. Ridiculous. Has nothing to do with Tim Walz and the Democrats. Another agent had his finger bitten off. Oh, so sad. Poor agent. Listen to Kristi Noem again.
Individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual. but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds.
Oh my God, dozens of rounds. It's not unusual if you have a handgun that you will have a magazine or 2. It's not illegal to hold mags. But this is the so-called conservative former governor of South Dakota who liked to do PAP promo videos for herself out shooting things. The same Kristi Noem. Very anti-Second Amendment rhetoric here. Typical double standard, more fake conservatism.
He also had no ID. This looks like a situation.
Oh my God, he had no ID. They said, let me see your papers. Oh, you don't have your papers. Is this the new America? This is the Secretary of Homeland Security basically insinuating that, you know, you deserve to die if you're not carrying your ID. That's the subtext, the intention of what she's saying. Either that or she's so thick she doesn't understand what she's actually saying, which is also a possibility.
Where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
So she's saying he intended to kill law enforcement and inflict maximum damage. Where does that come from? Doesn't look like he was doing that. It looks like he was filming. So do these people care if anything they say is false or made up or propagandized, or does it matter anymore with this administration? Do they care? Does the truth matter at all?
About hundreds of protesters then showed up at the scene. They began to obstruct and to assault law enforcement officers. We saw objects being thrown at them, including ice and other objects.
They threw snowballs at the ICE agents. No comment.
And a rampant assault began, and even an HSI officer agent's finger was bitten off.
Oh, what a shame. But you know what, folks? When you come into communities, all guns blazing, wearing masks, shooting the place up, pulling people out of their cars, out of their homes, out of schools, out of hospitals. Yes, out of hospitals. Out of churches. Yes, pulling them out of churches. When you start doing this, the community is going to be hostile to you. Newsflash. Some Americans like their freedoms. But this federal government seems to think that that doesn't apply when they're in charge. That the Constitution doesn't apply when they're in charge. That's what they're insinuating here. Unbelievable. It's where do we start with these people?
Crowd control measures were deployed to bring safety to the public and to law enforcement at the scene. And once again, I want to remind everybody.
To bring safety to the public? No, you just shot and killed somebody who was unarmed at the time they were killed.
That this situation and this tragedy did not have to happen.
That's true. It didn't have to happen. Whose fault is it? Is it the victim's fault? Kristi Noem and Donald Trump want you to think it's the victim's fault. We showed you the footage. That's not the case, is it?
Our law enforcement are doing everything that they can to protect the public.
That's just BS. This is like a level of propaganda. And look at these idiots standing behind her with this kind of show of force. These people have to stand there and humiliate themselves. This is a regime, folks. This is a regime. Look at this. It's pathetic. The show of force. This is a regime.
Praying for this deceased loved one's family and friends, but we also recognize that the Minnesota governor and the Minneapolis mayor need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. They need to evaluate their rhetoric, their conversations, and their encouragement of such violence against our citizens and our law enforcement officers.
I can't play any more of this. So she's accusing the community of violence against ICE officers. ICE officers are killing people on the streets of Minneapolis. They're killing them. This Orwellian inversion, this person right here is lying. They need to be impeached or resign. You can't continue to have these people in the heads of their departments. And because Trump won't sack them because they can't admit they're wrong, because then they would be admitting defeat, therefore they have to double down. This is why the Trump administration is going to go down in flames. They're going down in flames. This is just one example. These people learn nothing from history. Absolutely nothing from history. Here's constitutional lawyer Jen Eunice. This is what she's absolutely spot on here. Let's bring this up. Right there. And Eunice says, I'm looking forward to seeing all the fake conservatives on here defending this one. Note, he does not say brandishing, pointing at, or anything to that effect. In open and concealed carry states, you are allowed to have a gun while approaching law enforcement officers so long as you aren't threatening them with it. That's true. But here is somebody from the Trump administration, United States attorney, FA attorney here saying, and he's saying, this is someone from the government saying, if you approach a law enforcement with a gun, there is a high likelihood they will be legally justified in shooting you. Folks, we got a problem in this country. This is government saying, going against the Second Amendment right here. Bill Asalee, official account of Bill Asalee, first assistant U.S. attorney for the Central District of California. That is a federal official, federal legal official going against the Second Amendment publicly, saying that Alex Pretti deserved what he got. And that's legal. So they're saying ICE legally can shoot you. So they're announcing that the Second Amendment doesn't apply to the Trump administration. So when we say fake conservatives, we are definitely saying fake conservatives, okay? That's exactly what you're looking at. Unbelievable. So, any questions, folks? Are we missing anything here? I suppose. So here's the director of Homeland Security. This guy's a real piece of work, Greg Bavino. Where do they find these people? Honestly, where exactly do they find these people? So here he is at his press conference. And if this isn't bad enough with spokesmodel Kristi Noem, you've also got people like this. I mean, wow. Listen.
Questions?
All right. Carly, go ahead. One question.
First question, when did agents learn that he had a gun, and did he ever brandish that weapon at agents?
Allie, this situation, again, is involved.
So what the press asked is, did he ever brandish the weapon? Because Bavino is saying that his mercenary thugs, his Gestapo, were justified in killing this man. And the press just asked, at what point was Alex Pretti threatening the ICE agent? At what point? And here is the head of ICE, okay? Or I think that's, Border Patrol and ICE, okay? And so rather than give an honest answer, he tries to make up basically a lie. In doing this in front of the country and in front of the world.
Allie, this situation, again, is evolving. This situation is under investigation. Those facts will come to light. This particular incident is being investigated just like we investigate.
So he can't answer the question. So either this clown this clown didn't even review the footage yet. You know, if I was the head of this department, I'd want to know what I'm looking at and understand what happened before I go to the national press and stand there like a clown. Okay? Before you go up and make a clown out of yourself on national TV, you would have wanted to review and know what you're talking about. And you got to make a call. But if you're part of a fascist government and a regime, okay, and you're afraid of what the boss or the party will do to you if you don't stick to the party line, okay, if you're in a fascist government, that's what your thinking would be. I can't go against the leader. I can't go against the gang. Otherwise, you know, I'll be fired and maybe worse. Trump would then make fun of him. If this guy was honest and he said what really happened, Trump would then insult him publicly and say he was weak and say that he, you know, had no talent and should have been fired a long time ago, whatever. Trump would humiliate him publicly if he went against the party line. So hence you have very weak people in government who don't have any principles, like this person who cares more about his gold-plated pension, or maybe he just doesn't know any better, or maybe he himself is corrupt. We don't know. It could be any of the above. Watch him.
Other similar incidents like we've done over the past several years, it's in the hands of professionals. Those facts will come to light.
All right, going on to the next question.
So, did he have an additional gun, or was the gun moved from the scene? And I watched the video from start to finish of that woman who was wearing the red jacket, and it doesn't seem like he pulled the weapon at any point. So, did the account come from the agent? Did they say that he pulled the gun before, during, after? When does the gun come out?
Again, this situation's evolving. This is under investigation. Those facts will come to light. But let's take a look at the gun. You can see the gun here on the screen there that individual possessed. It appears to be a semi-automatic high-capacity.
So he couldn't answer the question and say, let's look at the picture of the gun. So he has to cover up what Kristi Noem said, which was a lie, what Stephen Miller said, which was a lie. All these people said this was an assassin who was intending to kill ICE agents. So they have to defame the victim. They have to demonize, criminalize the victim, deflect from what they did, cover for what the other director of the department said, and what Trump himself said, which was completely false publicly as well. This is such a joke. These are not serious. Well, they are serious. They're seriously criminal. They're not serious professionals. They're serious criminals and apparatchiks. I mean, you might as well be in Stalinist Soviet Union at this point. There's nothing conservative about any of this. Big government going in to shoot up towns. Anyway, this guy wasn't done. He continued to shill on Fox and some of these other channels. I don't know if he got on CNN or not, but we might have the CNN clip. Let's try to have a look here. Hold on. This is incredible. Yeah, I think we got this clip. Watch this.
It feels as though, in some ways, you're blaming the victim here.
I mean, this guy is so clownish looking. Look at the haircut. He thinks he's still in the Marine Corps. Listen to what he says. He's asked a straight up question, but can he answer it? No.
Respect, it feels as though, in some ways, you're blaming the victim here.
The victims are the Border Patrol agents. I'm not blaming the Border Patrol agents. The victim are the Border Patrol agents. The suspect.
The disgusting spin. The victims are the Border Patrol agents. First of all, they're not patrolling the border. These are not government servants of the people. These are people you just hired through a mercenary agency who are not professionals. Put masks on them, giving them carte blanche to shoot to kill with total federal immunity. Okay, and now you're saying they just kill somebody on the street and you, the head of the department, are saying they're the victims. What a clown. Where do they find these people? These must be the most corrupt people you could possibly find.
Put himself in that situation. The victims are the Border Patrol agents there.
There it is, folks. You know, this guy's a real piece of work. But what do you expect from this administration? What do you expect from the Trump administration? So the shilling continues. The shilling continues. There's no end. Here's Stephen Miller. A would-be assassin tried to murder federal law enforcement agents, and the official Democrat account sides with terrorists. He's trying to make it a Democrat issue. That's when you see that with these guys, you know they are trying to cover up something they did. This is not about Democrats, but for them it is. They want to use that as a scapegoat, blame it on the governor of Minnesota, say the Border Patrol agents are the victims. These are deeply dishonest, immoral people, okay? They're not qualified to be running anything in government, and Stephen Miller was appointed by the Israeli lobby, full stop. He has no real qualifications other than he was definitely on a short list for the transition team, which was being run by Howard Lutnick and Jared Kushner, who answer to Israel. That's Stephen Miller's qualification. As you can see, he doesn't even have a law degree, as far as we know. Maybe he picked one up at Trump University. I don't know. But, you know, lying, it's par for the course. They don't care. Here's the president. So what does the president have to say about this? Truth Social, which rarely prints anything true, is kind of an oxymoron. This is what Donald Trump put out. This is the gunman's gun. So he showed it. We'll show you the picture of the gun in a moment. Like a big, scary gun. Big, scary gun. Donald Trump, who masquerades as a conservative. Who still believes that at this point? I feel sorry for you. So here he is, Trump, bloviating as usual. This is the gunman's gun, loaded. Oh my God, 2 additional full magazines, exclamation mark, as if Trump has never seen that before. Maybe he hasn't. And ready to go. What's this all about? Where are the local police? Why weren't they allowed to protect ICE officers? The mayor and the governor called them off. It is stated that many of these police were not allowed to do their job, so he's now blaming it on the police, the local police. So his guys just executed somebody on the street. Trump, being Trump, is blaming it on the local police, not the person who pulled the trigger, working for the federal government, working for him. Not an easy thing to do. And he continues to scapegoat Ilhan Omar. Does she have $34 million in her bank account? This is Congresswoman. And then tens of billions of dollars that have been stolen from the great state of Minnesota, the once great state. And he goes on here, fraud, let our ICE patriots do their job. So at the bottom, Trump says, let our ICE patriots do their job. These are not patriots, okay? These are people given a badge and a license to kill by a federal government that's out of control. There's nothing patriotic about that. I hope real Americans can see that. This is, you know, people getting killed, and the president is popping off like a teenager on social media, just incoherent, sad, very sad. Well, let's get a look at the scary gun. No, there's the big scary gun right there. We'll talk about that in the overdrive in a few minutes. There's the big scary gun. And here's the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. The Second Amendment, right to bear arms, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's in the U.S. Constitution. But see, MAGA no longer follows the U.S. Constitution now. So you can see, and that's what fascism is, folks. This is how it begins. It starts like that. It doesn't matter if it's left or right. These powers are accumulated. It's as simple as that. And we'll, just to reiterate this point, again, these are some of these sort of paid accounts. Here's another one. Haley West, an alleged journalist. Yesterday, while driving, we were followed by multiple vehicles. So this person here will...
not ice. We're just letting them know, and they.
You see, what's happened here is the local residents have put together ICE watch groups, and they're keeping an ICE database. So they're watching ICE. And these so-called conservative fake journalists, like this one, Haley West, who's basically shilling for the government, defending these killings, going into the local community trying to provide, quote, media coverage, completely partisan, totally pro-government propaganda, glossing over what's happened. And they're so shocked that these people are basically self-organizing to protect their communities. When you see the size of the protest this week in Minneapolis, hundreds of thousands of people came out. It was massive. Biggest ever, bigger than George Floyd. You see, that's the reaction. That's what happens when you come in to shoot up, intimidate, and terrorize people. Those are the people of Minneapolis are reacting like real Americans. Okay? That's what real Americans do. They organize, they come out to defend each other when the federal government is infringing on their constitutional rights. And in this case, it's the left that are defending the Constitution, and it's the fake conservative MAGA movement that are trashing it, okay? The authoritarians, the globalists, are Trump. The Trump administration is backed by globalists, financed by globalists, and attacking the U.S. Constitution and the rule of law, and just bringing the country into such disrepute. It's unfathomable. Get that through your thick head. But these people are being paid, these fake media personalities are going in to agitate, and they're so upset that the people of Minneapolis have the gall to organize to protect each other when they're getting killed on the street by federal agents wearing masks, waving their guns around, pulling people out of their cars. Sorry to underline some of these facts, folks, but that's kind of like what's happening. So there's tons of this partisan media going on, and some of these people are unbelievable. Here's one. Okay, James O'Keefe. Everybody knows James O'Keefe. Project Veritas. Okay, here's James O'Keefe. So he's been deployed to Minneapolis to agitate and to try to infiltrate the protests, to make them look bad, to set them up, to entrap them, to generate viral clicks, okay? Absolutely shameless. Here he is. There's James O'Keefe. He thinks he's riding in on a white horse, and he's exposing. He's there to basically run cover for the Trump administration. James O'Keefe might have been a real journalist at some point, but now he is a hired gun for the establishment. He's doing government propaganda now for the Trump White House. It's exactly what he's doing. Let's listen to what he's saying here. James O'Keefe.
This is James O'Keefe in downtown Minneapolis. We have a team of undercover reporters still inside the mob. I was at the scene of the shooting covering it this morning, and basically we barely got out of there alive. There were a few hundred that surrounded us, started throwing ice bottles at us, a few.
You see what, James O'Keefe, he's not talking about the shooting and what he saw as a journalist, because he knows it's damning for the government. But because he's doing propaganda now for the government, he's not in opposition, he's doing propaganda for the Trump administration, he glosses over the crime, and he goes in to make himself the center of the story. Like, I had bottles thrown at me. Okay. Let me just get this clear, folks. Well, listen to what he has to say, and I'll tell you what you're watching here.
Hit us, hit our vehicle. They were starting to rip off my bulletproof vest, so we got out of there. We were followed, we were tailed, and here we are right now. We just got this message. And it's
so he's playing the victim, okay? He's there to basically agitate, to incite, to infiltrate protest groups, basically what the FBI do. James O'Keefe is basically a privatized arm of the FBI at this point. And this is not journalism, folks. He's not in opposition. he's batting for the White House. Okay? James O'Keefe is not an independent journalist. He's a hired gun. Okay? He is being paid for and given clout by the administration to go in there and deal with the actual opposition to what the federal government are doing, which is unconstitutional. And James O'Keefe is there to deflect, to defame residents of Minnesota. Very dirty. He's not an innocent journalist. He touts, he solicits attention. He is a celebrity media person now. He's a celebrity media person who's working on behalf of the administration. He is no more independent than Geraldo Rivera showing up or some other celebrity broadcaster. It's the same thing. So when you put yourself out as that big of a personality, like that's your whole shtick, not doing journalism, of batting for a specific political agenda, and in this case, you're going there to obfuscate and deflect away from federal government killing people on the streets, and you're upset that people notice you, that even if people try to drive you out of town, you can't claim, oh, I'm a journalist. You're raising money based on your media celebrity personality brand. That's how you raise money. You even say so yourself openly with your, quote, donors or your, quote, backers. So don't be surprised if when you're defending illegal activity of the federal government, unconstitutional activity, people getting killed extrajudiciously, that the residents might not like having you around openly saying you're trying to infiltrate community groups that are trying to defend each other from a federal invasion. James, just saying. But for him, it's all good. It's all business. It's all business for James.
Says, we know that you're in Minneapolis. You're with O'Keefe and his crew of Nazis. You're in a white Ford license plate. They actually wrote the license plate down from Florida. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead.
First of all, we don't know how accurate that is or if this is just a setup for camera, because this is James O'Keefe we're talking about here. But let's just say that was true and they're getting threatening messages. What did you expect? You're in there defending ICE and trying to attack and defame residents of Minneapolis. You will get, if you do get threatening messages somehow, or your associates do, would you be surprised? Or should you be surprised? Probably not. But he's trying to make a drama out of it to, again, play the victim here. Again, defending ICE, portraying ICE as the victim. You see? Very consistent right across Kristi Noem, James O'Keefe, Greg Bovino, all there basically running the same propaganda campaign that ICE is the victim. See how they work together. It's totally coordinated. Trump from the White House to Steve Miller to Kristi Noem, Greg Bovino, and James O'Keefe is doing information ops on behalf of the government in this case. Whether he's being paid directly, no, he's getting his money through other sources, but he is effectively working on behalf, for all intents and purposes, of the White House. That's not journalism. That's Soviet-level propaganda. So say goodbye to any independent journalism from James O'Keefe. You have to wait till the Republicans get out of power, and then he'll become legitimate opposition media at that point. This is the problem with the right. They get into power, they screw it up just as bad as anybody. So anyway, we'll leave it there. That's the last sort of clip we'll show you. Actually, there's one more. Actually, no, I'll save that for the overtime. We're taking a swipe at Con Inc. But we'll revisit the Second Amendment with Hesher and Ruckus. Okay, actually, folks, this is just breaking. This was just sent to me here. Okay, this is Bryan Allen, independent journalist. I think he's based in Minneapolis. Pam Bondi just threatened Minnesota, basically in the letter saying that Trump will remove the ICE agents if the governor hands over all the voter data, election data, voter databases, etc., hands it over to Trump, then they'll back off. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're into a level of corruption we have not seen before. This was just sent to me right just a few minutes ago. I just loaded this in, thanks to my producer. See, this is how we've really got a good, tight system here. It's really working. Here's the letter from Pam Bondi. Again, I just got a hold of this. What does she say? Is this true? Let's take a closer look. What does it say? It says, allow the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice to access voter rolls to confirm that Minnesota's voter registration practices comply with the federal law as authorized by the Civil Rights Act of 1960. Fulfilling this common sense request will better guarantee free and fair elections and boost confidence in the rule of law. So basically, this is third among terms for getting ICE to back off. Folks, this isn't about illegal immigration, is it? They're messing with the election machinery of Minnesota. This is a Democrat, or this was almost a swing state in the last two elections. It was pretty close. So the Trump administration are potentially trying to interfere in the elections. So that's part of what this is about. And they see removing a lot of the immigrants and asylum seekers and so forth, legitimate asylum seekers, by the way, in the case of Somalia. Because of the U.S. global war on terror, we trashed that country. So we gave refugee status to Somalians. That's how it works. But the Trump administration are trying to reverse the demographics, maybe. This is, that's impeachable. For Pam Bondi, that's impeachable right there. That's immediate impeachment. She should resign, or she should be impeached just for that. That's a major overreach. Every single one of these cabinet heads are going to get impeached, potentially. No one's seen this level of criminality. No one's ever seen this. There it is, folks. For those of you who are impaired, who can't read the Second Amendment, some of you MAGA guys struggling with literacy, there it is. We've blown it up for you. Right there. Send us all your voter information and we'll back off. Very corrupt. They don't care. This brings us back to Trump. Again, last thing, I have to show you this. So Trump basically made fun of NATO troops from other countries, said that they're too afraid to be on the front line, so we really don't need them, said Trump. So that includes British troops, Dutch troops, people, Danish troops, people serving in NATO, the people they dragged to Afghanistan to do this ridiculous global war on terror. The United States led this whole op. Afghanistan never attacked the U.S., but they claimed because bin Laden had passed through there or was there, that meant that the U.S. could bomb and occupy Afghanistan for 25 years. Yes, or 20 years. Yes, they did. So Trump is now trashing other NATO members' troops, saying that they're weak and they're not real soldiers. Yeah. Well, here's the interview. Let's see what Trump says. Here is the man himself. I just have to play this to you because it just shows you this old man is literally self-immolating right in front of our eyes. Watch this.
with NATO, I think, but I've always said, will they be there if we ever needed them? And that's really the ultimate test, and I'm not sure of that. I know that we would have been there, or we would be there, but will they be there? And let's hope that that never happens. We've never needed them. We have never really asked anything of them. You know, they'll say they sent some troops to Afghanistan or this or that, and they did. They stayed a little back, a little off the front lines, but we've been very good to Europe.
I mean, this is a guy that was allowed to dodge the Vietnam draft because his dad was loaded. Okay? Donald Trump hates the military. He uses the military to project power, but he, as a person with zero honor, as you can see, he despises these people. He only lauds them and showers praise upon them because he feels he can use them. But if any of these people actually went against him, he would call them cowards. Or if their governments aren't doing what he wants, he'll then insult their soldiers like he's doing here. This guy is like, wow. So this caused a huge backlash. Keir Starmer is demanding an apology. We're told Trump is issued a backpedaling statement. I mean, it's such a stupid move of many in a long list of other stupid moves of this president. But so here's a reaction from some British troops and their families to Trump. Okay. Just remember this special relationship between Britain and the U.S. Trump's managed to actually sabotage that, which was one of the easiest things to hold together. But for Trump, you know. So here's regular working class British soldiers who've lost family in Afghanistan fighting America's stupid war on terror. And now Trump is insulting them. Here they are. Listen.
I was very upset when Luke told me that he could speak about our soldiers like that.
What could he do now as a reaction, a direct reaction to the words that he said?
Apologise for what he said about the fallen. You're supposed to remember the fallen, not speak about them. They wasn't there. They were there.
They were on the front line.
On the front line. I've got pictures of my son.
Jamie was killed after a half-ton of explosives was driven through the camp wall. 50 Taliban attacked that base. And they were coming through that wall, the breach that they made. And them soldiers are British predominantly and American contract workers who had no weapons.
Oh, wait. American contractors making money, making tons of money in Afghanistan. And Donald Trump is trashing the actual soldiers from other NATO members. This president is a complete idiot. He's immoral. He's disrespectful. And he's dishonorable. I mean, I'm being kind. I could say much worse. But does he care about any of these people? No, he doesn't.
On him. And the British had to protect them. All them soldiers didn't just, stand back. They were on that front line. They were way past that front line. They were making sure they survived. And they were fighting. And they were very brave, the Mercian Regiment. I'm proud of them. If Trump walked into our living room right now, the first thing he'd see is Jamie on a picture in front of a US Marine helicopter, ready to go out on an operation with the US Marines. That was the front line. Jamie has a NATO medal as well. So that disrespects that side of things. The NATO medal meant a lot to Jamie because he served alongside the Americans and the Danish. You don't get that for no reason. The American contract worker who was a former soldier over there, who was protected by the British soldiers, turned around and said, Jamie was incredibly brave for what he did that day, for all them soldiers that died. When they were taking the helicopter up in the plane, the soldiers were getting shot at by the Taliban still, even though the fighting was still going on. It's sad.
It is sad. It is sad. These are kids that get told that they're fighting the global war on terror, And all they're doing is basically fighting for the U.S. military's ability to traffic heroin out of Afghanistan, for the arms industry, for the defense contracting military-industrial complex, for Israel. That's who they're fighting for, and they think that somehow they're fighting for NATO or they're fighting for America. These poor kids. They recruit working-class people who have no idea about how dark the U.S.-led geopolitical agenda is, and Britain's there along for the ride to serve up cannon fodder, along with the other NATO countries. I don't blame them, because most people don't know. The military is heavily propagandized. They have to be. How else can you motivate people to go out and do what they do on behalf of U.S. corporations? Let's be frank. Or on behalf of Israel. Let's be frank. Has nothing to do with Queen or country or the stars and the stripes. That's the level of realization that these people need to get to. And Trump may have opened the door to this in a roundabout, ironic way. It is such a crass comment, so disrespectful, this president. I mean, he has really lowered the bar in ways that hard to comprehend. So hard to comprehend. Look, we're going to cut to overdrive now, and we're going to have a very colorful conversation, albeit slightly briefer than usual, because I've gone overtime on this segment because it's so important. But I appreciate you guys being here for us on this. I mean, we're doing our best to try to flesh this out in a way so people really understand what they're looking at here. Now, I'm going to play a preview to a track, and there's a link in the show description if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble. There's a new band that is getting quite acclaimed reviews at the moment. They're independent, and they've given us this track. They're called the Real Anthem Band. This is kind of post-punk, very quite big, rich, very rich sound. And the lead singer, some of you might recognize. We'll talk about that in overtime. But this is just a sneak preview. The full track is coming out next week. They've kindly given this to us to preview on the Sunday Wire. The Real Anthem Band. And you'll see the title of the track on the graphics. This is just a clip, and then we'll cut to another video, and we'll re-engage our teammates on the other side. I'm Patrick Henningsen. This is the Sunday Wire. We'll see you in a minute.
Cold ceiling, serpent calls. Buildings burn, masking riot shots. It's TV terror, watch the will of God. Hey! Here we are. Heaven come down. Here we are. Heaven come down.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sunday Wire. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. We're streaming out live on X, Rumble, YouTube, also at Facebook Live, BitChute Live, as well as on the audio streams, iTunes, Spotify after the show. We're going to be relaunching our Spotify channel maybe this week, possibly next week. And again, we're able to do that because of your great support, ongoing support for our winter fundraising drive. But again, I'm your host, Patrick Henningsen. That was Real Anthem Band, Sean Helton, who is a great friend of the show, lead singer, great songwriter, and just an amazing track. We'll give you the full track of that. There's a link to the Real Anthem's Bandcamp site that's in our show description as well. So we're very excited about that. Great track. And the full-length video as well will be given to us. So we'll premiere that on the Sunday Wire, maybe this week or the following week. We're not sure, but great job by Sean. And again, as I said before, as we were sharing with you previously at the beginning of the program, just to remind you, currently we are in this cycle for the winter fundraising drive for 21stcenturywire.com. And it's been very successful the last couple of weeks. Some of you guys have really stepped up. I want to recognize the support. And we'll read off a couple of names here. And again, it's, with just the first names, because we'll respect the confidentiality of our subscribers and the people supporting this show. But you guys know who you are. But I have to say, there's a couple of, there's too many heroes in here for us anyway. A big shout out to Barbara N. and Chris M. And also a big shout out to Karen P. Big shout out to David as well. Those are new members, new core members there. Miguel N. as well as Joar E. David R. Big shout out to Barrington's, Victor, Roy M. Also Ken F. and Sheila O. And also Cynthia. Cynthia, you know who you are, came in big style for us. Wow, I'm blown away. Thank you, Cynthia. Major donation. That helps us tremendously. And yeah, amazing. Also, a couple of anonymous donors there. Crypto as well. We do accept crypto donations on our website. So some of you have come in with some crypto donations. Thank you very much. Lester, thank you, Lester. Another Chris, Michael S., another Cynthia H., Michael C., and Patty T., Hermino P., Adina, Annette. Thank you very much. You guys are amazing. And not to be outdone, a couple more here. Carol T., Marco D., Simon A., Banush, thank you, Banush, as well, and also Walter. Walter, major donation. Thank you, Walter. You know who you are. Appreciate it. Ralph T., thank you very much, Ralph Wojek. And yes, a girl in a tree has also dropped a very nice donation, as we often get great donations from girls in trees. So thank you very much. And John R., Gretchen W., and first name very, last name thankful, believe it or not. Not kidding. Jose M., thank you, Jose, also took out a membership, donated and took out a subscription to 21wire.tv. Thank you, Jose. Patricia B., thank you. Patricia also took out a lifetime membership. Wow. Thank you, Patricia. Michelle P., Peter B., again, I might have read some of those names off last week. We had some overlap there, but I just wanted to give a shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. So as you can see from the dial, folks, it's gone up. We're now over 11. It's past the 11,000 mark. We're going to hit our target hopefully by the end of this month. And that's how long we wanted to do this. It was going to be 2 months. And we're nearly there because you guys have come through for us big time. So thank you so much. Look, there's still time to support us. If you like what we do, you like what this platform is doing in terms of journalism, reportage, our intelligence briefs daily, the Sunday Wire, this show, plus the Midweek Wire, which will be restarting soon again. Took a break over Christmas. Not to mention our daily video content. We're putting out shorts on multiple social media platforms. We're on TikTok now. We're building on Instagram. We're building on YouTube, rebuilding our YouTube channel. It's going very well. And we're going to be increasing the content on those platforms. So, yeah, we're getting visibility. It's also able me to do a lot more outreach. I'm on a lot of big podcasts. And so that's been great for 21st Century Wire as well. And yeah, so we're working hard. We're crunching analysis daily. We have meetings. We have staff. You know, we're growing our team. So that's because of your support. We're independent. We're supported by you. We're supported by you. And we couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you so much. There's a few other people I'd like to give a shout out to. Maybe we'll do that next week in terms of support. But this is how we're going to make it happen, folks. We've been going 21st Century Wire since late 2009. So 2010, roughly. So 15 years. And we built up. We've been censored. We've been banned. We've been silenced. We've been attacked. We've done hit pieces in the mainstream media. We've been targeted by government and quasi-government agencies with smear campaigns, all of that. Delisted on Google. No organic searches after 2017. All of that. YouTube suppressed. Kicked off of Twitter. Suppressed by Elon on X with his algorithm. Despite all of this, we're still here. And for some reason, our audience is growing. How's that work? Tenacity, your support, and an awesome team that we work with, including the teammates that I'm going to introduce to you right now. I'm going to bring some of those up on stage here. I have to start with Ruckus first because of this. So this is our terrorist in residence, Ruckus. Nice to see you.
When in Rome, as they say, right? Do as the Romans do.
Are you trying to get a job with ICE or?
Well, I was going to let you guys know, this is my official letting you know, this is my 2 weeks notice with Alternate Current Radio because I took the $50,000 signing bonus. So actually, they gave me a little bit more. They gave me 66.666. So they feel like I'm a key an integral part of their next stage in this war because it's going online. This is just phase one. I hope everyone appreciates. No, actually, it's just because it's so freaking freezing here in Central Texas today. So I'm just trying to stay warm. As fate would have it, it just kind of matches the theme. I would never join ICE because there's only one type of person who's going to join that group and do what they're doing that we're witnessing right here. That would be murderous thugs who want that license to kill. Most likely, they're probably flat out genuine, actual racists. Not like, hey, we're just going to call this guy a racist because, no, these are probably actual real-life white supremacist, Nazi, KKK racists, and we have given them free reign to run around and do whatever. But as you have seen, it's not just limited to people of the wrong skin color. It's just anybody they don't like. And I think this was meant to send a chilling effect message to us. This was a shot across the bow to the gun owners of America. This is the final straw. This should be what breaks the MAGA camel back. If this doesn't do it, I don't know what you're doing. If you're still clinging on after this one, thinking that Trump is pro-America, defending the Constitution, he's a rule of law and order kind of guy, you're crazy.
I'm concerned, Ruckus. You say you're not going for a job at ICE. I'm not sure if that's true based on how you're dressed right now. There's a fine line between ICE and ISIS. I just want to point that out. But then again, with the suit, with the shirt and tie, you could easily be a Wall Street banker as well, because they're also terrorizing the country, and they also should be wearing masks as well, based on like what they're doing to the economy at the moment. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, corporatism, the corporate world has been merged with the War Department, with this Department of War. This is basically the subject matter we discussed on this week's Boiler Room. You should check that out, everybody, at alternatecurrentradio.com. But yeah, we called that episode Peace Inc., Peace Incorporated, brought to you by the Department of War. We had a very good discussion on that one. But yeah, this we're seeing this convergence of the. We were worried about private partnership kind of stuff, but now it's military, government in bed with big tech, and it's a hot mess that I want nothing to do with.
Ruckus, I appreciate that, and I have to be very transparent with Hesher right now. Hesher, are you okay to be sharing a platform with somebody who is wearing a mask and is not like openly declaring his affiliation with ICE, of course, but potentially, you know, you could say this could be a terrorist of sorts, maybe a terrorist of words, a word slinging terrorist. Hesher, what?
Well,
put that out there.
I'm going to do my best to get myself removed from all federal lists here today and say that as a good American, no. I mean, yes, I do support Mr. Adam Clark being here in a mask, because apparently if I was to, you know, legally drive to a state where this kind of stuff is happening, I need to be cool with plain clothed, masked people, maybe armed under those gray jackets and khaki jackets. Maybe not. I don't know. But hey, I want to be a good American, right? I want to be one of those people Donald Trump calls a patriot. So, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with, and plus, you know, hey, I survived 2020, 2021. I'm still seeing masked, plainclothes people at the grocery store. Sometimes they're the ones checking my groceries out. So, you know, just welcome to the new world. I mean, New World Orders. I don't know. Welcome to wherever we are. Thanks for having me.
Chat. Thank you, Hesher. Chat. Can you just let us know, chat, everybody, if you think that Ruckus should be allowed to conceal his identity like this, coming into your living room on your phones right now, obviously invading your digital community space. Do you like this terrorist that is basically brandishing a microphone and other sort of digital apps or whatever? What do you think? What's chat saying this? Yep, they say they like the glasses especially. I find the glasses almost as offensive as the mask. A lot of good quality feedback.
This will probably never match the popularity of the last time I did a masked appearance on one of the programs. That was as this character right here, in honor of the Yeezy event when he came out on the Alex Jones show. When we did Boiler Room that night, I wore a full face mask and the hoodie, and everybody just absolutely loved that. So this might be a second to that one, but that's another popular one.
Technically, we don't even know if this is actually Ruckus. This could be somebody aping his voice. I hope Ruckus dates my illegal sister, says Chanel 3202. So yes, you do have a fan club there, Ruckus.
We're going to need an address there. You said an illegal resident was where? You're harboring them. That makes you guilty. We're going to have to throw you in the slammer too. Or if you're lucky, we just might throw you to the ground, beat you up, and shoot you in cold blood. What do you think?
Well, they're saying, did Ruckus just take a legal carrier's gun and walk off? Somebody did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yep. And here we go. And this is really, she's spot on here, St. Madeleine Sophie. Eventually, all of us will be terrorists. Yes, in the eyes of a fascist government, you're correct.
Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. So, you know.
Look at this. Ooh, Ruckus is making fun of ICE. Not nice. You're damn right.
I like the one from Kurt Boss that says, "You're too skinny and smart for ICE, Ruckus."
That's right. I approve of the AI, Ruckus. Yes. Hesher conceals a phone. Get him, Ruckus. Oh, see, now they're sort of prompting Ruckus to attack people with phones. Well, that's... you have to show your proactive proactivity, Ruckus. You will get a job at ICE if you can show that you're proactive enough, ruthless enough. Ruckus mask much better than the clown makeup worn by MAGA. Ooh, let's talk about MAGA for a minute, guys. And I want to get back to the second. Let's start with the gun issue, Hesher. Did you see Trump's tweet basically saying that how dare you walk around with illegally concealed carry permitted firearm, right, in America? Are you am I missing anything here that the President of the United States is making kind of anti-2A statements here? Am I missing anything, Hesher? Because if I am, please let me be corrected.
No, I mean, that was a really idiotic post. That's a pretty, normal gun right there. It's a Sig Sauer P320, either Equinox or ALG or AXG. I'm not sure. It's one of those, but it retails for about maybe $1,800. It's got what I would call kind of a crappy optic on it, but whatever. Probably came with it. It's a Sig optic. Yeah, it probably has like a 17 round mag or something like that. I don't know. I haven't shot my 320 in a while. They tend to go off on their own sometimes. Very normal handgun. Millions of Americans, millions of police officers, and pretty much everybody in the military is carrying some variant of that gun right there, regardless of what you think of it. That is the situation. And that's kind of, those Equinoxes, ALG or AXGs, stuff like that. They're an upgraded model, somebody put some thought into purchasing that. You don't need to spend $1,800 on a pistol. That's a nice pistol, issues with 320s aside. And that's a standard magazine, that is a very standard magazine. To say dozens of rounds, I mean, I guess if he had one in the gun and 2 mags on him, I guess you could call that just north of a couple dozen rounds, but that's normal for people to carry around. People carry around a lot more ammo than that just for personal defense, It's completely normal in Americans. So for him to put on the mask of a liberal gun grabbing type of guy and say that is should be shocking to people that hope that this administration is pro 2A, because those certainly weren't the words of a pro 2A administration. It doesn't even, I wonder if that's even written by Trump. It's not even in all caps.
There's not much. There's a little bit. Let our ICE patriots do their job. But what is this with 2 additional full magazines? Exclamation mark. So is there something illegal or wrong about having magazines?
No. So what? So effing what is that's a completely irrelevant thing. Like the fact that this guy, the amount of lies that have been stacked on top of this to even get to this as like a talking point to debunk are ridiculous.
So let me tell you this, Hesher. We take the first 3 sentences here. If that had said Joe Biden at the top, Joe Biden's Twitter address, just the first 2 or 3 sentences, you wouldn't be surprised, would you, if it was Obama's tweet?
Of course.
Saying that, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. It's Trump. He supposedly is the leader of the conservative movement in America. I find this to be hugely problematic on a very fundamental level, that I can't believe that this is put out by a president's account. It's shocking, and that's just on a very fundamental level. So who is running Trump? That's my question. See, what you have, and this is what we have to get back to, and I think the masks are off now. Donald Trump bankrolled Democrats his whole career. He even bankrolled Hillary Clinton, wrote her some big fat checks before she became Crooked Hillary. Okay? Elon Musk bankrolled Democrats his whole career. He bankrolled maybe John Kerry, I'm not sure, but let's just say start with Obama 2 terms, Hillary in 2016, and Biden in 2020. Okay? Musk, all these guys. These are not conservatives. I just wanted to try to underline this. Donald Trump is not a conservative. He only cozied up to the evangelicals to get the vote. That's it. He's not anti-war. I really don't believe he was ever anti-war. I think he knew his advisors were very clever to tap that demographic. But deep down, I really don't think he is. A lot of people claim he is, and he's just being pulled by the Lindsey Grahams of the world. I don't believe it. These are not conservatives, you guys, and I'll get your comment on this. And when it's issues like this, then you can see this is where the hot coals hit the iron here. Okay? You can't hide on your positions, right? You support Kyle Rittenhouse being armed and openly armed with a very powerful rifle at a protest, kill somebody because he believed that person was threatening his life and trying to disarm him. And you support that, but you're now demonizing this constitutional person carrying a weapon, even a concealed carry weapon, wasn't even brandishing or pointing that weapon. Had it taken off him and then was shot possibly 3 times in the back, as well as other shots. The level of inconsistency here is, to me, unforgivable. You can't call yourself a constitutional or a conservative if you're not defending the rights of the guy who's dead on the pavement. Where do you guys stand on this? Because I find this to be very black and white. Unlike the head of ICE who says we have to wait for the investigation. And he's just...
I agree 100% with you, Patrick. All of your analysis about the whole thing, and I probably agree with whatever Hesher's about to say. I don't particularly... I was about to say, do I look like the type of person who causes trouble? Do I look like a dangerous criminal?
Is that a trick question?
Of course,
today?
Today, I'm wearing the mask. But that aside, you guys know what I look like. I walk around with a Sig Sauer. It is the capacity of 17 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber, and I do oftentimes walk around with 2 extra mags. That's 17 each. So that's 52 rounds, and that's just a normal... Just if I want to go outside and just do whatever. It's not because I want to go somewhere and hurt somebody. And what I just described there is probably average or less than average of what most people are carrying on average just throughout their day here in Texas. It's an American thing. It's such a garbage argument to go with the firearm and the capacity and all. I'm like, who is this? Who are they talking? It sounds like the same stupid, hey, we got to ban the guns talking point coming from Democrats. Who are they trying to appease to here? Clearly not conservatives, clearly not Americans, and clearly not even the MAGA base. So what the F is going on here? Just wanted to point that out.
They're talking to people who are pro-federal government. That's the audience, isn't it? And it doesn't matter if it's Republican, the elephant, or the donkey Democrat. Pro-federal government. Same position generally, right? On those issues. I hate to point it out, but that's what it seems like.
I mean, if you're partisan minded, you're pro-government at least some of the time. But you got to admit at this point, like, the government could do so many things differently if they didn't want to escalate the tensions between partisan minded people. That's why we have a dialectical political system here. This political system has been corrupted, and it is pushing, both sides of it are knowingly or unwittingly are pushing us towards this. You know, there's so many things that if this administration was pro-peace, good financial system here, if they were really make America great again and America first, There are so many ways that they could handle this, right? If the Republican Party, say, all throughout the Biden administration, really had their hands tied and there was nothing they could do about having a wide freaking open border and let 23 plus million people into the country illegally, if they really couldn't have done anything about it, gosh, our hands were tied, guys. The way to de-escalate that and show you that they care about you and that they think America is first is to use the forces that they already have, move resources around, make sure that the ICE people are trained properly, they understand the rules of engagement, what they're allowed to do, et cetera, and that they focus on actual illegal people that are here doing shady things quietly without all the hoopla, right? Fine, deport those people, fine, imprison those people, keep a public log of it, let us see their records, let us see why you targeted those people. You know what I mean?
So professional, you want them to be professional about it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's all you would have to do. Not go around killing American citizens, not go around demonizing the victims, stuff like that. Like, I think some people misunderstand at least what I'm trying to say when I talk about this, because they're like, oh, well, you must be a brain dead liberal. It's like, no, you must not have been listening to me for the last 15 years, because I'm going against every single administration that we've had. Unfortunately, I give people chances. I call balls and strikes. I've learned from the best. Thank you, sir. And it's like, oh, well, you're on the other side. No, I'm trying to tell you that the partisan politics and the identity politics that are installed in people that are like, oh my God, I can't handle this. I worked so hard to get this guy installed because all this other crazy crap was happening, are not zooming out and seeing the bigger picture, which is this was all planned ahead of time by both sides. And if it wasn't planned by both sides, then both sides are so corrupt and so stupid and have people pulling their strings that other people outside of our political entity are creating this situation and pushing these narratives into these people's heads via money, coercion, force, blackmail, whatever. I think they're all pretty much in on it at this point. It's pretty easy to see what's going on here if you can just zoom out far enough. So yeah, this all could have been avoided. This could have been a clean transition to a government that was trying to de-escalate wars, de-escalate this protest situation. But what do we see instead? We see rampant ICE stuff. If that letter from Pam Bondi that you showed is true, we're seeing ICE, a weaponized force being used to do political intimidation, which is exactly what Republican voters were so mad about with all the lawfare against Donald Trump, right? Well, that was just lawfare. This is like, straight up force, deadly force being applied, potentially, if what we saw earlier, to, coerce state governments to relinquish this and that. And yeah, a lot of the public would like to see that stuff too, but that doesn't mean the public wants to see ICE go in and disarm people and shoot them in the streets so that we can have this fucking circus that we're seeing right now, man. And like, I think what happened, here's what I've watched the footage enough now. I think this is kind of what happened. The kerfuffle starts, the dust up starts, one agent calls gun, right? Someone says, quote unquote, an agent says gun. And when a group of, tactical sort of dudes, someone says gun, people start pulling guns out, right? But here's the order of operations. Someone said gun, they saw it. Agent A calls gun. Agent B unholsters his weapon. Agent A disarms the suspect, right, which was in its holster, pulls the gun out, and then Agent A accidentally discharges the confiscated gun. The other guys who already have their guns drawn hear a gunshot, don't realize it was this dipshit that just negligently discharged the gun that he pulled off this guy, and then all the agents start firing. That's what I'm seeing there.
Yeah, quite possibly, but it's clearly he was disarmed before.
Oh yeah,
the victim was shot, and that's the main point.
And
not to detract from the seriousness of this conversation, we'll snap right back into serious mode. But I had to leave this comment up here because Ruckus is being accused of things I don't think he's guilty of. I bet Lindsey Graham would love the mask, but you need the whip accessory as well, Ruckus, says Neil Robinson, 9806.
I have one, but Nancy Pelosi stole it from me.
Well, and again, he was kind enough not to write your name correctly, so he's probably talking about another Ruckus, not Ruckus, apparently there. So that's perfectly fine. Back to the serious commentary. Yes, and yes, Hesher. They want the show of force. They want to make the political impact. He wants to punish the community for some reason in Minneapolis. That's political. That's political showboating. It's intimidation. And coming in with weapons drawn, federal agents. Point is, guys, and again, chat, what do you think about this? If that was the police force, none of that would have happened. Police force wouldn't have been pepper spraying women. And so the lawful firearms carrier resident would not have felt the need to go and protect the woman from the police, because the police wouldn't be involved in any of that. In fact, the police wouldn't be apprehending random people on the street or pulling them out of cars or basically going into people's homes looking for, quote, illegal immigrants. Law enforcement generally is broken down because of these federal invaders. It really screws up everything in a community. They have no jurisdiction. They're not even doing legitimate business, quite frankly. If you look at the stats and the numbers on the apprehensions and the amount of American citizens that have been detained, it's kind of crazy. The worst, you guys, the police chief in Minneapolis said that ICE were detaining off-duty police officers who were brown-skinned, Latino, female, and male. Imagine being an off-duty cop and these thugs, because you didn't have your papers on you, basically detaining you, roughing you up, throwing you in a cell. I mean, it's just insane. And MAGA is explaining this away, you guys. All these bots and shills online and the James O'Keefes of the world. So, look, I have to give a big shout out to J.P. Sears has absolutely redeemed himself from hitching a ride on the MAGA train early on. He's absolutely self-correcting, showing us that he is actually a real comedian. And I like people like J.P. Sears, and I'm going to play this, a little clip from something he just put out, which I think is just so class, and it shows you like what a cut above this guy is. Okay, this is, so Con Inc., you guys are familiar with Con Inc., right? Everybody knows Con Inc. Well, this is a JP playing a influencer. This is too good.
Look, I don't know what else you people want from me. I've got an American flag. It's really big, for crying out loud. Like, just stop with all the hateful comments. They used to like me. I'd say stuff and they'd just agree. I don't know what the is going on anymore. Hold on, I just need to check my tweet, make sure I got mad at the right people. Comments. Shit. Got it wrong again. Tell me what you think of this tweet. I'm all for ICE doing their job. This is what I voted for. No, that's too strong. No, what about we need border security, but this isn't the right way to do it? No, I mean, that's too weak. Okay, I think I got it. ICE was wrong. 3 shots to the face was too many. 1, maybe 2 would have been enough. No, I mean, I don't care either way. It's just, what's the position on this for us? It's hard making conservative content now. Everything you say, there's going to be a rageful mob attacking you.
What, the libs?
No, the conservatives. It's very stressful. Liberals have been leaving us alone, though. Hey, where do we stand on this take over Greenland thing? It's a wild claim. Candace says she doesn't know, but she knows. What do you think that means? I catch hell for every piece of content I make. Like, there's no winning positions you can take with these people. With my people. These, whatever they are. Okay, I think this will be a safe tweet. We should bomb Iran because the regime kills protesters. Okay, that's wrong. Delete that. We should not bomb Iran because Israel wants us to. Okay, also wrong. We should not bomb Italy. Should be a safer take. I never thought I'd live in a time where Trump supporters would hate you for supporting Trump. Well, they do a lot of the time. Oh, dude, Dan Bongino's coming back on air. Oh, we hate Dan Bongino now? Is Erica Kirk a CIA asset? I don't know. But Candace said that Charlie came to her in a dream and told her. And I thought it was a credible source. Kind of a direct quote. Your nuanced position on Israel should come down to, do you hate Tucker Carlson or do you hate Ben Shapiro? I call upon.
Oh man, I'll pause it there, but you can go to JP's YouTube channel or on his X account and see the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, this is the only way you can do satire, isn't it? Stay off that political fence.
I guess the disillusion and fracturing and civil war and MAGA has silver lining is JP Sears has something to be funny about again. I had to tune out from him somewhere around 2021 or so, like back when he was doing the whole ragged beat up reporter thing. It got so tedious and unfunny. Sorry, JP, but it was just like, all right, it's just too close to reality, especially at the tail end of the Biden administration. I was just like, all right, this is not, it's not even funny anymore, man. But that I watched a little bit of that last night too, and I definitely got some lulls.
He was using his acting skills really well there.
Yeah,
he knows the character. He should know the character. But you guys, this is the thing. And if you're only funny, you can only meme when you're in opposition. So now the right can't meme. Now that, because remember they said for years the left can't meme. Of course not, because the left was in power. But then when you get in power, you can't sort of be blind to all the hypocrisy just because your leader or your party won the election. Because if you go down that road, you just become a state propagandist. So you can't be a comedian or do satire. You can only really do it punching up and going after the establishment. I mean, this.
Like, how are the right gonna make a meme that's like, we're making fun of the people who are sad that these thugs shot an unarmed person? Where do you even begin with that? And like, there's some of them are in our chat. They're like, oh, I can't wait to hear today's rant about how federal officers executed the law finally. And I'm like thinking, nobody on this call is upset about anybody like going after people who have like committed a crime. Like, I've never once seen anybody on this program or general. We don't see, like, when's the last time you saw a big kerfuffle or protest going over, like, because the cops ran down and captured a bank robber, and then a bunch of people said, hey, leave that bank robber alone. Do people honestly think that these people are out there like trying to quote unquote stop ICE from doing their jobs? It's absolute lunacy to me. It's absolute ridiculousness.
Yeah, and thanks for pointing this out, Gogs Sid Lillian 743, whatever the hell that name is. Careful, you might slice your finger. Warning. Yeah, an ICE officer got his finger bit, according to Kristi Noem. I mean, so you can shoot people like in cold blood on the street, 10 shots, 3 in the back. But the thing to be worried about is that an ICE officer had his finger bitten. I just want to point that out there.
They want to make sure that the viewer thinks of protesters as rabid dogs or wild animals or something like that,
So what do you guys think of Kristi Noem in general? I mean, she went from being the hottest soccer mom in the country to being a witch, basically. I mean, it's quite a character arc, isn't it?
It's so stupid, man. I'm sorry. All of the Real Housewives of Mar-a-Lago type, get out of here. Get the fuck out of my feed. Get out of my political offices. You know my stance. I thought if Trump was really legit, he would have reorganized and shut down a lot of these 3-letter agencies completely. But what did we see instead? Right. Bring in the tech bros. Give them all, trillion-dollar deals and loads of power and do shit for other countries. And yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
too
what
right.
no shutting down of FBI, no relocating, none of that. No stop in the daily shooter programs, nothing.
I think you meant Desperate Housewives, or sorry, of Grand Rapids, isn't it? It's not Mar-a-Lago. It's.
Well, that's where they all fly to hang out. This is where they all get turned into these weird psycho creatures, I think.
Mar-a-Lago furries, pre-revolution orgies at Mar-a-Lago, says Kurt Boss. He seems to know things that we don't.
There was a furry at Mar-a-Lago just recently. Yes,
there was a furry.
What is happening?
That
we
is a
used to be a
fact.
country. We used to be a country. Damn it.
You're a hedge fund with a country attached to it, unfortunately. Let me see. What's that? Ruckus had something up on screen there. Can you put that back, please? We used to be a country. That's what Gumby would say. That's something Gumby would say, but that's not. That's a cigarette.
It's the Marlboro Gumby.
Promoting smoking to young children. I miss the 70s. I really miss the 70s. Those were the good old days, Ruckus.
Looks almost like a General Lee behind them there too, but
and we didn't go out on the streets to protest over that. Now did we?
Wow. Oh, here we go. Oh, you guys are starting to rail on Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem has had so much plastic surgery. Oh boy, goodness gracious. I cannot read the rest of that. Maybe the subtitles of the AI can pick it up. Yep. Okay. Giant cigarette. That's Gumby, damn it. Right, gentlemen. This is getting out of control. Take it easy on old Kristi there. She's just doing her job, guys. I don't see what the problem is. J-Lo to play Kristi Noem in the movie. When is the movie coming out? When is the MAGA film coming out? Is Dinesh D'Souza going to do a MAGA film?
No, what we need, man, is like a James Gunn style MAGA verse where there's like, kind of like the Marvel verse where it's like, you start with, I don't know, the J.D. Vance movie. He can be Iron Man and Peter Thiel and Larry Ellison can be his little partners. And then we need the Kristi Noem movie, right? We build the whole super team, right? The whole super MAGA political team. We could make a franchise out of that. There's a Melania movie coming out, by the way.
Oh, my God, I've seen that. What the hell is that?
I saw that advertised on YouTube the other night, and I was like, what? Like, it's just called Melania, and it's got all these stupid, like, slow-mo scenes of her walking in different outfits around the White House. I was like, what the hell is this going to be about?
That's just like, that's some propaganda right there. Listen, folks, Epstein had a thing with Melania and then passed on to Trump. Did you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
There's a term for that. Does anybody in the chat know what the term for that is? There is a term for that. Does anybody know what the term is? What did Trump get from Epstein there? Anybody? Melania the movie. Just waiting. Here we go.
Yeah, good question.
I was hoping you guys were going to say, here we go. Neil Robinson comes in for the win, 9806. Sloppy seconds. Neil, you win the prize. Oh, see, now things are just getting very out of control right now in the chat. Very out of control.
Uh-oh.
Free handbags. Thank you. That's more civilized. Thank you, Photon Belt. You guys are out of control today. The chats. Do you know how many comments we've got in the chat right now in the live stream?
Meanwhile, did you guys notice
2,000 comments?
That,
well over 2,000 comments. Ruckus, go ahead.
Amidst all of this tragedy, the White House, speaking of memeing, we're doing penguins now. Did you catch the penguin craze coming out of the official accounts from the current administration? I guess
did,
they started with this.
I was confused, Ruckus. I was confused because penguins are from Antarctica, right?
Well, let's not get into the. I mean, come on. Do we have to really have to think about stuff like that, Patrick. It's just
You call the president stupid, bro?
See a penguin, you see snow, and you're like, penguins, Greenland, yeah. So they're going hard with the penguin thing. Like, well, the facts be damned. Let's not worry about the penguins and where they are and all of that stuff, Patrick.
Wait, okay, put that penguin back. Put that back up on the screen. Put that back. Okay, now I want to tell you guys how there's a bot army. There's a MAGA bot army, if you haven't noticed, on X. So I tweeted, I quote tweeted this as literally retarded, okay? Literally retarded. And all of a sudden, a swarm of MAGA bots came in. You can check it out yourself. I had to block a few of them because they're vexatious. But they came in and started saying to me, you don't get the mem. You don't comprehend the mem. And all these, and they all copied the same thing. It just came flooding in. 100 followers, 10 followers, 200 followers, all these bot accounts. But they wouldn't say what so they redid it to say it was a QAnon inside joke that Trump was sending a secret message, but they wouldn't say what the secret message was. So there's these automated swarm responses. They're running some crazy social media information ops with this, kind of like NAFO. So is it type of almost, it's not to the level of NAFO in terms of the size, but it's pretty significant, and it's targeting, like, immediately came into the streams, like 4, 5, 6. So there's dashboard stuff going on, you guys.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's crazy.
No, it's wild out there. I mean, I'm pretty put off on X right now. Even just, not as someone that posts enough, just as a viewer, a lurker. It's like there's so much trash on there, so much garbage account. Like, that was the other thing we were promised. We're going to clean up this platform. We're going to get rid of the bots. Are you kidding me? It's crazier than ever now.
Yeah, he's talking about it here. Like the bots are flash mobbing influencers into being as we speak. Yeah, that's kind of like flash mob.
100%.
Yeah. Crazy. And the QAnon stuff is starting to work its way back in as well, because the Trump is hemorrhaging support amongst his original base. Are we all in agreement? Looking at the polling, I retweeted some of it. Looking at what the People's Pundit, Richard Barris, is putting out right now in terms of polling, all the independents have just, they're gone. And I'm talking about independents like libertarians and people like that as well. They're kind of gone. And I think this incident in the last 24 hours, it's kind of like you can't walk that back. If he came out and reacted and read the room, guys, read the room and said, look, we effed up on the last one. Let's get this one right. And just said, look, we're going to have an official investigation, and we think there might have been excessive force here. We're very sorry. And back off, pull ICE back for a bit, or maybe even pull them back full stop. But they're not. They're doubling down. They're saying we're going to send more agents in. They've sent in James O'Keefe to infiltrate the protest groups, create viral videos, hidden cameras, and all this stuff, pretending to be the victims. I mean, let me just say this, okay? You guys are in Texas. Shock horror. There's a lot of people own guns in Texas. I know it's like a real difficult to comprehend, right? So what would happen if 3,000 federal agents showed up in your town in Texas and started pulling people out of their trucks, started banging down doors, started going into churches and hospitals, demanding to see your papers with guns drawn in the street? What would happen? How would the community react? Would they react nicely and say, oh, this is great, we love what you're doing here? I don't think so. But maybe I'm wrong. Tell me, are we reading the room wrong here? They're able to get away with this in Minnesota, but how well would they even try something like this?
I could see them trying something like this here, but it would have to be a very different narrative. You know what I mean? The characters would need to be different, and the situation would need to be different. The reasons for them being there would need to be a little bit different. I know plenty of people here in Texas that would do what is constitutional in that situation, probably, depending on what that situation was. It's hypothetical, of course. But, just understanding some of the people I know here, no, it would probably result in them defending their rights. But there are also, and those people consider themselves patriots. There are also a lot of people in Texas that run around with the permanent MAGA stickers on the trucks and the Back the Blue stickers on their trucks. And I think some of those people, those people consider themselves patriots too. And they trust this wing of the government bird. So I think you're in it's a situation that could and should be avoided because it would cause chaos amongst those two classifications, rough classifications of people, stereotypes I just laid out there, who should, normally be walking side by side, in a national event. So, I could see something like that happening to further divide. I think that's really part of what is happening with this administration and just the political dialectic in general. It's just to degrade everything, to make, get people whipped up into an identity politic and stick with it. Sometimes an identity politic works. A lot of times an adjustment will come to the zeitgeist identity politic or the left-right identity politic, and it will click with someone's worldview. And it's like, yeah, that works. I'm in. But then they don't have the ability to say, wait, that doesn't work. I'm out. You know what I mean? It's like they were so dejected and needed that belief and belonging so badly. They found it in the identity politic, and then they run with it. And this is a different person than your influencers and people like that are whipping those people up. They're getting paid to do that, right? Never mind them. They're sort of a different class. Just consider them, propagandists or information peddlers. But the people that are affected by it, they latch onto an identity politic and they stick with it long term. And then they're in that, ecosystem of ups and downs as the pendulum swings back and forth, and they dance to the system. And that's going to be a problem no matter where we see this kind of, I would almost classify this as Gladio. I assume this was an organic event, but the way that the media is talking about it has turned it into effectively like a Gladio or a color revolution sort of narrative.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is quite a good comment here along the bottom. USA's been an endless war with people in power, and the government at war with the people, an endless war with the people. It's a huge, convenient distraction, but one that I think is going to be the undoing of this president historically, I think, because, you can say soft target Portland if you're, MAGA. Minnesota, Ilhan Omar is there. They've been demonizing Somalias with Nick Shirley, the new, Elon-backed journalist, 21-year-old or whatever. And you can't wage war. Guys, if you're a banana republic, you rule over the people. If you're an American president, you lead. You're supposed to lead the country. You're meant to lead the country. We traditionally, that's the goal, right? That's the position. You lead the American people. But this administration is doing exactly what the Obama administration did, which is that we're going to lead only our party. And not only that, the extreme end of our party, and everyone else is an enemy, and we're going to ignore them, and we're going to do what we want to do. And Trump is doing the exact thing that was done to him, and he's doing the exact thing that was the most divisive aspects of the Obama administration and the Biden administration. And he thinks that it's okay because they did it. You see, when the adults are in the room, they say, look, we shouldn't be doing the same mistakes as the past. Let's bring the country together. Let's get, let's fix this country, get the economy going. Let's get people's confidence up. No, he's doing the opposite. And guess what's going to happen now? This is so extreme on one end. It's going to cause a backlash that's going to boomerang so hard when the Democrat House gets elected at the midterms and when the Democratic president gets elected in 2028, if there's an election. And guess what? Those Democrats who come into power are going to use all of these powers against Trump supporters. Folks.
Would there be an election if there's like mass civil chaos and Trump declares martial law or something?
No, it would be historic. They would delay the election, and that would be a first. And who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop them?
That's interesting concept. By the way, do you think this is going to spark out? How long before, because they're already busing in people from around different states to Minnesota just for the protests against ICE. How long before all the MAGA are being bussed in to do the anti-protests against the other people? You know what I mean? They're the same type of crap that we see every time this happens. That's probably going to be the bigger problem because we do have like a larger amount of liberals now are armed. That's actually a phenomenon that has been happening since Trump's first term. They're all afraid of Trump. So they've been arming themselves for this imaginary fight against Hitler Trump when he wasn't even doing Hitler stuff. And, you know, of course, now that he's literally doing Hitler stuff, it's like everybody's quiet about that, which is interesting. But yeah, what a pickle we're in. I think it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse from here until, you know, he declares some sort of national emergency. And then that would conveniently, allegedly, so I mean, maybe might save his skin right now because he's being unpopular. He already said, hey, if they get in, I'm going to get impeached. If all else fails, they take you to war, as Gerald Celente would say, even if it's internal. I mean, this is starting to look like it's playing out like some sort of foreign war where the people, the MAGA who are cheering it on, aren't going to be the ones that get in buses and go out there and protest against these crazy lefties who are trying to stop ICE from doing their jobs. No, they're going to view it just from their TVs, and they're going to think that they're winning, and they're going to believe everything that MAGA says. They're going to believe what Kristi Noem says, what Carolyn Levitt says, and what Pete Hegseth says, et cetera, down the line. And it's like, it's just some sort of amusement. It's like, and Hesher, you said they're just fighting with each other, because if we realized who was or what the real problem was, instead of us, you know, again, fighting with each other, it would look more like this. We would be coming together to resist against like an invading army of a sort, but it's coming from within. You know what I mean? So I wonder sometimes if they're not setting us up for a civil war, rather they would prefer to see us make some sort of attempt at a revolutionary one just so they can squash it and then be done with it. I don't know.
Right. They alluded to that. They gave us a piece of media predictive programming in that movie Civil War. There's that scene, I forget the actor's name. He's kind of like, you know, sort of has a Matt Damon look about him. But anyways, he's not Matt Damon. Anyway, there's that scene where, you know, he runs into a group of reporters. He's like, you know, appears to be part of a military. He's some sort of militant, you know, and someone in the chat was just talking about the word patriot. And, you know, this guy's basically, you know, it's martial law. There's a civil war. This guy's basically trying to decide whether he's going to execute these people or not. And one of them is, you know, an American or a foreign born American or something like that. And he says, I'm an American. And he says, I'm a patriot. And the guy says, oh, yeah, well, what kind of patriot are you? You know what I mean? Like, we're at that point right now. That's very emblematic of the MAGA Civil War, the MAGA split, the MAGA Exodus. Is like, well, wait a minute. We both said and it's also, you know, shown in JP Sears' video there. It's like, well, I'm a patriot. I thought we were all patriots here. What does the word mean anymore, guys? You know what I mean? It's like everything's gotten so Orwellian that simple terms that we used to be able to even just communicate with and know what we were talking about, what that meant as far as our worldview goes when we're trying to understand someone else or explain ourselves to someone else. The words don't even work anymore. They're upside down. They're inside out. They don't mean the same thing to people. It's a mess.
Here's this. The Antifa came up in the comments here, and he said, "Here's this FCH F Chow, I guess 6019. Yeah, blame something that does not even exist in a formal way like Antifa. This is why this country is fast downhill. Now, when they started under the first administration, people like Paul Joseph Watson, these people, these so-called conservatives, were saying Antifa is a terrorist organization, okay? Is the Alex Jones camp. And I thought this is not going to end well, because it's not a terrorist organization. They really weren't doing, say, terrorist things. This is why the U.S. government, while they are backing actual Nazis in Ukraine, arming them, and Al-Qaeda and ISIS, okay? But when you start to basically casually use this terrorist label, now Kristi Noem is calling Renee Good a terrorist, Alex Pretti a terrorist. It's just anyone's a terrorist. That's why when you use this term so cheaply and the government uses it to label, that means they can bypass due process because you are a terrorist. That's the problem with this term. It is more than a slippery slope. It is a tool in the fascist toolbox that has been used throughout history. Everybody against us is a terrorist, or a potential terrorist. And I'm not talking about, someone putting on a ski mask during a podcast.
Which we would never do. And the other thing I would like to add about Antifa, like, there's never, I shouldn't say never, I rarely hear nuance around the discussion of Antifa. People tend to maybe forget, how small Ruby Ridge was, how small Waco was, how insignificant they were in the media and in their local towns. And they were infested with FBI, DEA, agent provocateurs, confidential informants, people trying to stitch them up. The events of Sugar Pine Mine, Waco, Texas, and Ruby Ridge are a perfect example that it's very common in this country that when people get together in a group, especially if they are Second Amendment enthusiasts, constitutional enthusiasts, or religious enthusiasts, or any combination thereof, these agencies know about it, they find out about it, they will futz with it, they will infiltrate it, they will blow it up, they will burn it down, they will kill the children inside of it, and then blame the victims. So yes, Antifa on its face, no organized structure aside from, common people using social media and all this stuff. But think about it for a second. It's not that simple. You've got NGOs swirling around with a whole buttload of money. You've got intel agencies. You've got all kinds of law enforcement agencies. You've got federal law enforcement and maybe even military intelligence running around with a lot of that NGO money, directing some of that NGO money on the same boards as some of those NGOs, money flowing into these groups, infiltrators going into these groups, agitating these groups, becoming leadership roles in these groups. It's the same with Proud Boys. It's the same on both sides. All these groups end up that way. So yeah, it's like a person may identify with the mottos, the thesis, the grievances, whatever of one of these groups. Maybe they just even want to be just left the hell alone, right? Like that. Talk about Waco and Ruby Ridge. Just leave us the hell alone.
What do you think of this comment, you guys? Donnie's trying to provoke a reaction in Minnesota and elsewhere so he can use the, quote, Insurrection Act to enact martial law and suspend midterms and other functions like the Constitution indefinitely. Not a bit of extreme take, but are any elements of that plausible, do you think, based on what we're seeing?
Yes, isn't that like what I was just intimidating a minute ago there? So
intimidating or intimating?
Intimidating.
You look a little intimidating.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, I've seen people positing this around on X, Daniel, and I mean, if they were to hit the gas here at this point, which
yes,
today's
exactly.
news feels like they have hit the gas, Hell yeah. That, and a lot of people have been talking about this. You know, why is it politicians don't seem to care about getting reelected? Why do they act like this? Why can the three of us dummies sit here and come up with solutions that would de-escalate all these things in a podcast on 2 hours, and the entirety of our government system that's sucking 40% of our income out every year before they start taxing us for our day-to-days and licensing us for our day-to-days actually wants us to fight each other as though we're a nation that is tuned up and in shape to fight one another. You got to be fucking kidding me. Sorry for the homeschoolers out there. You got to be fucking kidding me.
What's the next event that could kick it up a notch? Because I saw some chatter suggesting first they killed a woman and now an armed guy, a legally armed guy, and then they were saying maybe a child. How long before a child gets killed? How long before a actual well-known podcaster goes out there and starts covering this, and then something happens to them?
One of those women filming is lucky she didn't get shot. Those guys weren't even following the first 4 rules of firearms, one of which is know what's behind your target. They were literally they lined up like they were a firing squad as they all backed up. Number one, too many rounds into that guy for being unarmed. If you thought he was a threat and it was an oopsie, admit it. You know, someone had a negligent discharge. Someone had said gun. We all backed up and shot. Sorry, but it was they all backed up and just mag dumped pretty much. And that woman that we was filming, you could see her from the other angle there. She stepped to the side, but she was clearly in a very dangerous spot with those guys all aiming their sidearms kind of in this direction. If somebody had aimed too high, especially on that right side, she could have been hit. So it's what Ruckus just said about a child dying or something like that. When I see a gunfight like that, where armed agents aren't even minding what's behind their freaking targets, what Ruckus just said is very plausible. This, I would say this is going to continue. They hit the gas on the media part. So that means when they mess up like this, they're going to keep doing that. And it's going to look uglier and uglier and uglier every time it happens.
That's the point, you guys. If that's your neighborhood and you see government come in and shoot somebody like that on your street, it's hard to go back to normal. You know how careful the police are, and I know the police get a bad rap, and yeah, they do fuck up. And there's the Daniel Shavers incident in the hotel. It's horrific. But what I'm talking about out on the street, it's not Wild West. They don't want to cause that kind of a scene in any community in America generally, unless it's absolutely necessary or warranted, or it's a gunfight basically. But these guys don't have the same consideration. These are mercenaries, thugs coming in, secret police. They don't give a toss about the community. People have to go back to work. They have to go to sleep that night after seeing that in their same neighborhood. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry. It's just unacceptable. And the president should have done, if he was really a leader of the U.S., he would absolutely condemn it. Absolutely. In fact, he'd be on a plane there to meet with community people, to dial it down or do something. This president doesn't have the ability to do any of that. We can't even imagine him doing that. He's so bad and weak and just kind of. Trump hasn't been in front of a camera talking about this yet. I've not seen the media. He's just putting out these stupid tweets. He must be having a meltdown, because this is undefensible from a constitutional point of view. This is it. This is way, way over the line, guys.
He was busy flying to Davos to hang out with the World Economic Forum. This all kind of went down right in the middle of that trip, or front end of that trip. I can't remember which, but here's another good one. I'm going to put this on screen if you don't mind, Pat.
Yeah.
Tim Gibson, 3754. What up? MAGA was being fed unsafe streets before election. That's a really good point. Think about how much they campaigned on the streets being unsafe and how they were going to make the streets safe. This is what that looks like. And this is what we were afraid it would look like. But what we said, hey, we'll wait and see. Well, we see. We waited. We didn't have to wait super long. And we see. Streets are definitely not safe.
That was a big campaign thing, wasn't it? Yeah,
big
safe
blank.
Streets.
Long pole in the tent.
Yeah, feel free to snatch comments, you Hesher, for sure. If you see anything that needs to be highlighted, absolutely. Now, this person asked me here. I'll go back to this one. What about reports that Israelis have trained ICE? 100%, 100%. We exposed that on UK Column the last 2 Fridays. Minar, in fact, Minar Adley, Mint Press News, which is a great independent media outlet, she basically gave me some new information in our interview this week, which will, if I had more time to work on the edit on that, it was a great interview. We will release that in full. But just there's a great political cartoon which I've got up on my X feed. I'll share this with you guys here. Let me just bring this up. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, hold on one second. Answer to that comment right there is basically this: IDF playbook. Thank you, Kathleen Tyson. Right there. ICE training session. You see that, you guys? Shoot first, block the ambulances, call the victim a terrorist. I mean, if it wasn't satire, but that's actually what happens in some of these cases here in America, in Minneapolis. Yeah, they are the IDF. They are, Border Patrol are being trained by the IDF, ICE specifically, as well as other U.S. PDs and the NYPD as well. But guess what, you guys? I don't know if you saw, did you guys see any of the New York or Philadelphia police? Basically, they apprehended some of the ICE agents, put them in cuffs, and tore their masks off in front of everybody.
No.
And said, get the F out of our city. You have no jurisdiction here. I'm in charge. Like the local police saying, we're in charge here. Philadelphia said, the mayor said, if you guys come in here and you're going to break our laws, we're going to arrest you. We're going to convict you in a state court, which is not eligible for a presidential pardon. He said, any of you. So ICE are not going to Philadelphia. I can tell you that right now. And guys, I'm a big fan of the 10th Amendment, states' rights. I'm a big fan of constitutional county sheriffs elected by the people in their community because they're accountable. You know, I'm all for good local law enforcement that's accountable to the community. I'm not a big fan of federal police. I'm sorry. Not a big fan.
Too many incidents, man. I mean, I go all the way back to Lavoy Finicum with that one. It's just like, nope, you guys messed up and you never took accountability for it. So no. Hey, Pat, I want to highlight this one real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Chris wants to know the music break. The band was, and if you could put me on full screen, I'll put their X account up there so that everybody can go follow them. The band is The Real Anthem. Yeah. And they're at Real Anthem Band on X. That's their X site up.
And the track is Heaven Come Down, and that's going to be released next week. You know, he's been getting some write-ups in some music mags already.
Excellent.
And we know the lead singer, don't we?
Yeah, we know him pretty well. He's a good friend.
We know him. Very talented. I mean, Sean has a great music career, by the way. I mean, before he started doing journalism,
he's a Renaissance guy for sure. He's multi-talented.
He's a great visual artist. He's a great painter. He is a very talented music producer, obviously. And he's now getting into music videos, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he creates there. So he's very artistic in that sense. His videos are really cool. And so anyway, we'll premiere that track next week or the week after when it's out. But it's a great piece of music. So Sean's very nice, epic production. Really,
yeah, the production's really, really awesome. The other tracks are great too. They have full tracks out there available on Spotify and on their X.
Yeah, he's a real artist, Sean. So he's, it's very one-off, unique. There's nobody like him, and I think the same with the music as well. But looking forward to that. Congratulations, the Real Anthem Band. Awesome. We like that. We like innovation in music. A couple more comments. Feel free to grab Hesher if you see any outstanding takes. I will look for those as well. Billionaires get off everything from genocide to PDFS. What the hell are you guys talking about? Ruckus was way too silent. I blame the oxygen. That's a COVID thing, isn't it? Lack of
people
oxygen.
are concerned throughout the whole thing whether I can breathe or not. I assure you I can breathe just fine. This is one of those guaranteed to protect you from COVID masks, so I can breathe air and do
This
that.
brings up a good point.
It magically will stop the COVID, though. It's awesome.
So for the ICE agents, mask raises lack of oxygen, raises heart rate. Plus they're on coffee and donuts and pizza. Did you see some of these slobs going to tackle this guy? Did you see the trousers falling down? They're wearing street clothes. There's no uniform dress code with these guys. Unmarked, like lousy cars.
Yeah.
How effed up is this guy?
I've noticed an uptick of unmarked cars running around our town too. Like a lot of them. Yeah.
Just like dressed like just slobs, you know. I thought the TSA
like someone
was
that
bad.
really needed 50 grand right away.
I mean, that's the real dystopia. Not just unprofessional, but dressed like a bunch of just slobs. I mean,
like a Walmart cop, like you're getting murdered by someone that looks like a Walmart greeter.
that's an insult to Walmart cops, actually.
Sorry.
They at least
Sorry,
have
Walmart
a semblance of some kind of uniform. Like, let's not be hard on the Walmart cops.
I actually to balance the scales, I saw a video the other day of a Walmart cop doing something extremely heroic, and it was awesome. So not all Walmart cops are a stereotype.
You see, with Ruckus, it's got the COVID thing where with the mask, I can't tell if he's laughing, if he's angry, if he's crying. We think he's laughing at our jokes here, but he might just be stressed out by some of the things we're saying. You don't know, and that's the problem with the masks, right? It really sort of cuts off communication.
Yeah, it might just be an illusion that it seemed like he didn't talk much. It may just be that you never saw anything but in blink.
Okay, so Ruckus, give us a couple looks. Give us your masked blue steel look for your high anxiety right now. I've triggered you. You're suffering from anxiety, right? That's the okay. Okay, now I've just cracked a funny joke, and you find it very amusing. Okay, and now I'm highlighting a comment that actually horrifies you. I thought Ruckus wanted to be a nice guy, says Bob Jones 9614.
No, an ice guy. Be a ice guy.
Oh, be an ice guy. I thought it said nice guy. See, subliminally, I'm easily. Oh, that's going to get us banned from YouTube right there.
Finger guns, watch out.
It's not loaded, I promise.
That's violence. That is violence right there. See, that's the thing, Ruckus. We can't tell really what your reaction is, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, because we've lost all human-to-human contact because of the mask.
Well, but at least we know that they can dress nicely and the mask still works fine, so they don't have to dress with all that other stuff, see?
Yep. Austin Ruckus. I think you've really raised the bar, Ruckus, on this program right now by coming in like this today. Like, literally, this is the equivalent of going commando on a podcast. And, I mean, we've had over 3,000, almost 3,000 comments on the live stream chat. You guys are, like, on fire. Chat's on fire today, you guys.
Defer to thought of something that I thought maybe only I have ever had to think about, which is with Hesher, and you put the balaclava on, where does the beard go? I'll tell you where it goes. Right up your nose, into your freaking eyes, all the way up onto your forehead. It's almost not doable.
Yeah, that's right. Where's the beard go? Basil's, oh my goodness, you guys are terrible. You're taking shots at Basil. He's not here. That's not fair. That's
I can't
not
even
fair.
figure out where the beard goes when I get in bed every night. Does it go under the sheets or outside the sheets? I'm still
See,
trying to
this is
figure
the
it out.
genius of what Ruckus has done today. It's the contrast. That's the genius of it. Right here, Rupert Fellows has recognized it. Like how Ruckus tie matches the mask. You see? That was the genius of it. It is the shirt and tie, not the mask. The mask is just the trigger. It's the contrast. Ruckus.
This is why they wanted to bring me on board at ICE, as they were having a fashion issue, so they wanted somebody to step in and help them up their game. So that's my job.
You look like a Hollywood bank robber, dude.
Yeah, Hollywood bank robber. I did Wall Street hedge fund manager, really. So Ruckus needs a cowboy hat. See, no, I don't think so. If you did that, that would be lame, and you'd be like a Steven Crowder. You'd be Steven Crowder at that point. So I don't think so. I like what Ruckus is doing here. I think it's
like Reservoir Dogs, but classed up.
Yeah.
I'd be curious how it looks with a fedora, though. I might try that.
There you go. That could work.
He's a central banker who is doing his job, really terrorizing us.
Again, dress for the job you want. I mean, Ruckus is open for hire. So central bankers out there, I mean, this is your man. Masks are off, so you may as well hire someone with a mask on.
That's right. Talibunnies. Yep. Okay, you guys. Look, we're going to wrap this up. I mean, have we missed anything here? Have we missed anything today? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Well, if we missed anything, folks, drop it in the comments. Obviously, we'll highlight some of your comments on the outro. But your final thoughts, gentlemen, before we wrap this up. And again, give us a shout out to any events that people need to be attending on the Alternate Current Radio Network this week coming. Take it away, gentlemen.
Go for it, Ruckus. Tell them what they missed last night.
What did they miss? Oh, they missed a lot. It wasn't last night, but last night at Alternate Current Radio, you missed live music. But the night before on Boiler Room, go check it out at alternatecurrentradio.com. We did Peace Inc., brought to you by the Department of War, if I can find it here. Hesher, did we put that on the website? We sure did. There it is. We're not lying. Okay. Yeah, so go ahead on over there and check it out. It was myself and Hesher, of course, Mystical Pharaoh, and Based Lit Analyzer. Good discussion. So definitely go check that one out, okay? You will also, while you're there, find out all about the other fine programs, including my appearances on Weaponized News under the moniker of Roundabout Ruckus. Speaking of great conversations, this one right here was fantastic. It was me, Sam Chaney, and 7 C's, and we had a wonderful discussion about Davos and directed energy weapons, and I didn't even have to wear a mask. So, yeah, there you go.
I'm glad you did come dressed for the occasion today. I think it really made the program, Ruckus. The chat's been just going on fire. As soon as you came on screen, the chat just started burning up. So we really appreciate you making the effort here.
They're burning up.
Spreading terror.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm burning up.
Spreading terror on the Sunday Wire. Or just keeping warm, because I heard it's cold in Texas right now. You guys are getting hit with an ice storm, no pun intended.
Yeah, it was like 24 degrees when we woke up this morning, and it's icy out there. Not anything like we experienced in 2021 so far. Fingers crossed it remains that way.
That Peace Inc. show was the bomb, says Andrew Podmore 5547, getting plaudits there at the Alternate Current Radio Network. That's the website there where goodbye illusions, welcome to Open Empire. Well, that's kind of what it is. There it is, Peace Inc. Peace Inc., as we showed you before. So that looks like that is one to go find on Alternate Current Radio Network, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen in the chat. So, yeah, it is living up to the hype, according to the people in the audience. So we like that. Listen, gentlemen, Ruckus, Hesher, appreciate you. Very important broadcast, very important topic. I thought, we have to do this properly because there's so much at stake here, not to mention your rights, your basic constitutional rights. So just so you know where we stand on this program, folks.
Yeah.
Just want to be clear. I think we made that abundantly clear today. I hope we did.
Not a party thing. It wouldn't matter who was in charge when that happened. We would have had the same analysis. That's all.
Yeah, true. And if you look back at our record, I think you'll see it's very consistent. Those of you who are long-time listeners, you're not surprised. It's what you expected. That's why you're here, and we appreciate you for that reason. Thank you very much. Good to see you, gentlemen. I appreciate your sterling efforts on this and so many other important topics. And I think Ruckus, you might be onto something here. This might be the permanent attire for this program. People are going to be expecting it or something equivalent next week. So don't let us down.
That's the trouble when you do these things. You're like, now what am I going to have to do next time to one up that, right?
Yeah, this is just making us an extremist program right off the bat. I love it completely. It might get us in trouble, actually. Who knows?
We didn't do our algorithm recorrect this week either, so we'll have to see how this one rolls.
No. Ruckus is going to transform the algorithm himself single-handedly, apparently. So
I'm not only pro-ice, I'm also pro-masks and staying 6 feet apart, so we're good.
There we are. That's what we like. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Look at them popping off right now. Stay warm, they say. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, if ERCOT can keep the power on, we're going to stay warm. That's all I know.
Good luck, gentlemen, with the ice storms. Hopefully, the power stays on. But I know you guys got your backup generators now. Once bitten, twice shy, as they say. I remember the last one.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys made preparations accordingly.
I believe when we did Sunday Wire after the hard freeze of February 2021, Sunday Wire was the first thing that Spore and I did. It was like the first day the power was back on. So like, if you want to hear Spore and I somewhat rattled after like hiding in a corner of a room, like with nothing but candles to warm us up for 4 nights, go back and listen to that show. I had some
the candles and the flower pots.
Yeah. The hobo heater.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, good. You made the correction. We adapt and overcome, as they say in the military. Thank you, gentlemen. Look, you guys, that's all we've got time for today. And I'd love to feature more comments, but it's just too much. But we've done what we can. We'll still feature some of these comments when we go in the outro, so keep them coming. Over 3,000, well over 3,000 comments now on the live stream. That's just amazing. That is just amazing. Fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody. Amazing program. Great engagement. And again, I'm going to have to say, I have to recognize just the incredible support that you guys have given us on the winter fundraising drive. We broke through 11,000 just overnight. So we're on our way to hit our target before the end of the month. And it can't come at a better time. And wow, amazing. So, and we've just commissioned a whole bunch of articles. We're getting articles coming in. We've got some great contributors, some of our regulars, of course, plus our just day-to-day activity. Not only that, we have a whole bunch of capital expenditures on the technical side, computer-wise and so forth, that need to be repaired, upgraded, added to in order to produce more content. And you guys have made that happen. Thank you so much to everybody and all the people that we read off. Another big thank you. Those were donations that came in the last 10 days or 2 weeks, more or less. So, and there's more coming. We've already received a whole bunch of donations during this program already. So you guys, you know who you are, and we'll recognize you next week or the week after when we do the roundup, as we've been doing fortnightly every 2 weeks. But this is the only way it's going to happen. So we are an independent media platform, and we've been running since 2010, strong, and we have our best years ahead of us. So we are independent. You guys back us, our listeners, our viewers, our readers. It's you. It's a people-powered platform. It's always been that way. So we have some affiliate sponsors that we work with from time to time, and that's been great. If there's products that we believe in, people that we believe in, we have in the past, like Clive to Carle, for instance, people who we know. We will, be doing more with those affiliates and promoting them as well. So, and there's other opportunities there, but things that work for our community, that work with regards to our values, you could say, and truly independent, and who are also pursuing the truth in their fields. These are also people that we will support, and by you supporting them, they support us. So it works for everybody. And so, yeah, but really, ultimately, subscribe and become a member at 21wired.tv. You can help us monthly. Just over $5 a month makes a huge, huge difference. Massive, massive for us. That makes things really hum and lets us to do things that we couldn't possibly imagine we could even achieve. So we need to be sustainable. We're running a growing operation, and to stay independent. Well, we're always going to be independent, but to stay viable, not just survive, but thrive in 2026, we need your help to support us. So those of you who have, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much. Really, it's been so amazing, the turnout. Wow. I'm blown away. Thank you so much, you guys. Look, that's all we've got time for today. I'm Patrick Henningsen. This has been episode 579 of this weekly omnibus news analysis radio and TV program here on the Sunday Wire. Take care, you guys. We will be back before you know it. I really hope nothing earth-shattering happens this week. I really don't. We'd like to have a light week between the riots in Iran, courtesy of the CIA and Mossad, or, I don't know, the kidnapping of the president of Venezuela, or maybe what happened the week before that. I don't know. What are we doing next week? I hope no more ICE shootouts in the streets of Minneapolis. That would be nice. That would be nice. Take a break, Donald. Take a break. Greenland, I don't know. Take a break. Take a week off. The globalists running the White House, take a week off. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I think so. I'd like to see that anyway. Anyway, you guys take care. Thank you so much for your support. We'll keep the comments going during the outro. But until then, I'm your host, Patrick Henningsen. It's been a memorable one. And hopefully we'll see you very, very soon. Very soon indeed. All the best.
For in the final analysis, we all inhabit this small planet, and we are all mortal.
Lately I've been watching the world gone mad. Brothers and sisters full to take a stand, to hate their fellow man, another man. Divide and conquer is the acronym plan. Distract the people, control the story. Don't believe your lying eyes, you know me. Stay in power, no matter what. Play with the doomsday clock. Turn a blind eye and gather your generosity, no accountability, perpetual impunity, always have an enemy to hell with all humanity. Staying power, no matter what, playing with the doomsday clock. Turn a blind eye and gamble your trust.